It's live. Can you check and make sure we got video and audio and all that? Everything looks good over here. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Checking the things, checking the things.
All right, see you.
You see me? Good. All right. You see me? Good. Okay. Wow, man. These microphones are like super loud. I'm probably screaming at people when I'm doing my videos.
I don't think so. That was pretty loud.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Rushing's here. What's going on, man? Nice to see you in the stream. We're just getting started. We're waiting for a couple of other people to pop in, checking the audio and all that stuff. So if you guys can hear me okay, let me know in the the chat down there. Hey Tina, how's it going? Shaggy Dog says, "What's up?" Well, what's up? I don't know. Noel's here. Hi, how you doing? Hope everybody's having a nice Sunday. We pushed these things back an hour to give a few people a little more time. I got bit by a doggone ant right here a little while ago. I was getting ready to go fishing in the morning. Monday's the only day that we take off around here. So I go fishing Monday morning, then we do other stuff Monday afternoon, right? And anyway, it fell out of a tree, landed on me, and stung the crap out of me. So that was a thing. But anyway, we're going to be talking about reef tanks, obviously, and all the things that go along with those. Audio is great. Good. What's the best algae scraper? So look, I have a Higer one. It's just a cheap, like $30 Amazon Higer one with the scraper that is attached to it. It's working great for me. I had a mag float probably for 20 years or so. And that one was good too. But the scraper on the Higer one is awesome. Flipper makes a pretty good one, but I've heard some people really don't like it quite so much. But yeah, the Higer that I have, it's been fine. Everything has been, I mean, no worries. I actually, on Wednesday when I do my tank maintenance, all the way along the top edge of the tank and around the silicone and all that, I've got to clean coralline algae off of this tank. And that scraper works really well for that. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Do we have that one on the list yet?
I have no idea.
I think we do. So check my website, reefrookies.com. There's an Amazon product recommendations list there. I don't know if we've gotten to like gadgets and gizmos yet. I think we did, and I think it might be in there. So just give it a check, give it a look and see. And if it is, if you buy it through that, it helps me out a little bit. So appreciate it. Taper Gore. We do not have the gadgets and gizmos done yet. We're working on it. It's coming. It's, tons of stuff happening around here. What's up? Hey man, how's it going? Nice to see you. I just got Manuel says there's the link is in the comments to go find everything else that we have so far added to the Amazon product recommendations list. So lighting's on there. Skimmers and pumps and a few other things. We still got to do gadgets and gizmos and wave makers and a couple other ones, but salt is on there, sand, rocks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I just got two gold head sleeper gobies. Sand everywhere. Will that get better? Probably not. If yours are, that's just what they do. They rearrange. Man, that hurts where that ant got me. That's just what they do. They rearrange the sand. They'll dig holes under rocks and all kinds of stuff. Cool fish, but if they're already like spraying sand all over your corals and stuff, that is probably not going to stop. Unfortunately, it's just part of what that fish does. Sometimes it can calm down a little bit after they establish their sort of territory and they found a place that they like. Maybe they'll chill out a bit. One thing that I have seen people do, they actually prefer like gravel over sand, like rock rubble over sand. So if you get some crushed coral, aragonite crushed coral, you can like pour that in the tank in a corner and they will like make that their home because they prefer that sort of thing. They can lock it together a little bit better and they might leave the rest of your sand bed alone. Maybe. It's a thing I've seen. But So much great content you've made. Really appreciate all the things I've learned from you in the group. That's awesome. Well, I'm super happy that you're finding some success with the stuff that we're talking about here. Diatoms still after 6 months. Any suggestions? Yeah. So my first suggestion would be to find out if you're using tap water or not. If you are, I would recommend that you get an RODI filtration unit. I have those in the Amazon list on my website as well. If you're already using RODI water, use a ICP test, send in an analysis. I can't talk on that RODI water to see if you have silicates passing through the RODI. Diatoms feed on silicate, so usually when you see them in excess population, it's because there's excess silicate in the tank. So if you can figure out where that's coming from and eliminate that source of silicate, then the diatoms will die back and go away once their food source is basically gone. So if you're not using RODI water, start using that. If you are using it, check your filters. The reason I didn't mention checking TDS, the total dissolved solids, which is normally what we kind of gauge how well our RODI unit is working. The reason that I didn't recommend that is because silicates are organic. They're not a solid, so they don't conduct electricity. Therefore, the meter that measures the total dissolved solids in the water won't pick them up. So you can have 0 TDS and still have a silicate problem with your RODI. So yeah, check into those things. What's the best way to get frags of zoanthids to make a garden? Take them? I'd leave them on the frags. Really, I don't ever take a coral off of a frag plug. A lot of people do. I don't. I dip them real well. I manually clean things if I need to, and then I just glue the frag plug right to the rock. They're going to cover it up anyway. I usually do cut the stem off the frag plug, which you can, if it's a stone plug, you can do that with just like some diagonal cutters. I cut it off and then I just glue it straight to the rock. So with zoas, all you really have to do is glue a bunch of them, 5, 6, something, to a big flat rock or several rocks that you're going to put together in sort of a pile, or whatever, and then just give them time. That's literally all you have to do. They're going to grow, and they're going to grow right to the point where they're all touching each other, and they might even overlap a little bit. That's it. There's really not much else that has to be done. Hammer coral was super pissed off for a couple of weeks. Now it's recovering. Great. That's good. I've got a couple that are still pissed off in my tank too, because my nitrites are still, and my phosphate too. Both of those things are still quite low. They're not 0, but I was planning on getting all of that hooked up today to start bringing that up with some dosing, but I didn't make it. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. I don't know. Wednesday is tank maintenance day. I mean, another 2 or 3 days isn't going to hurt anything. I can turn my skimmer off if I absolutely have to and dump that back in the tank. Don't want to do that, but I can. I'm having Cyanobacteria. Is that what you're talking about, Shaggy Dog? I'm going to assume it's Cyanobacteria problem. Tank's been going for 3 months. Should I get some chemi-clean or let it cycle out? I'm going to try something. Last time I live streamed, I said some words and then YouTube automatically made that a thing. So I'm going to make this a YouTube short. So here's the thing with cyanobacteria. It's usually due to a parameter imbalance. Most of the time you're going to see it when you have a phosphate situation where the phosphate is too high in comparison to the nitrate. Sometimes it'll be that you have phosphate and nitrate is 0. Sometimes it'll be that you have nitrate and the phosphate is just way too high. So in a tank that's only 3 months old, I would not recommend using chemi-clean. It's a broad spectrum general antibiotic that's going to attack good bacteria as well as bad. So all of that work you've been doing the last 3 months to build that good biome in there is going to get hit really hard by that chemi-clean. It probably won't kill everything, but it's definitely going to kill some of them. And sometimes you can end up with a worse situation called dinoflagellates, and nobody really wants that. So what I would do in a tank that's 3 months old is check your nitrate and phosphate. Make sure they are at the correct level. and then add live sand from the ocean. There's a bunch of different ways you can get it. Tampa Bay saltwater, Marco rocks, Florida pets, those are a few. Get live sand, get that in the tank, manually remove the cyanobacteria, and let the good bacteria outcompete it. That would be best case scenario. It's not always possible, but that's what I would say to do. Okay? Cool. Now let's see if that works. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, Jay, what's going on, man? Happy to see you here. Very cool indeed. Did we share a link in the group?
I did. Did it not show up?
Oh, no. I'm talking about in the.
Oh, yes, I did. I did.
Okay. Cool.
I just did that a few minutes ago.
I was just wondering.
No, I thought you meant.
So, yeah. How's everybody doing? What other questions do we have? Tina, me and you were talking a little while ago about coming up with a different design for your overflow thing, which we can absolutely do. Take a picture of what your overflow looks like right now and send that to me, because I don't know if you rebuilt it exactly the same way with that sort of same flange and everything. I promise we can 3D print something that'll fit in or on top of that or whatever to give you an overflow sort of grate that'll prevent your shrimps and your fish from going down that pipe. So that would be good. Am I all caught up? Oh, I'm not caught up.
No, you're not. Somebody was asking if you could, if they could see the refugium. They didn't get to see it last time.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to show that real quick for them.
Yeah.
Be able to stick around.
Yeah, we can go check out the refugium in just a minute. Oh, that's the next thing. Any way we can see the refugium? I didn't get to see it. Yeah. Now my light is not on because I have it on a reverse light cycle from the main display, but we'll walk in here and check it out. So this is it. It's a 40-gallon breeder. All of the plumbing comes from the main tank right in the corner under there. Both tanks share this same sump. So this tank dumps in here, that tank dumps in there. There's two return pumps over here. One feeds the main display and one feeds the refugium. And this is a very natural sort of thing. I mean, I have codium algae. There's Aptasia in there all over the place. That's a sailfin molly who's very curious. Some grape caulerpa. Tons of coralline algae, obviously. This is Halomedia back here. And look at the stomatellas. They're just absolutely going nuts. And all of this, I don't know why it's out of focus. All this dark green stuff is all just turf algae. I'm just letting it grow. I mean, it's kind of the point of a refugium is to have a place for all the bugs and stuff, you know? Trying to get it to focus. There are some corals, like that Favites back there is looking super good, got all his feelers out. And there's a lardy clownfish in here, bubble tip nymphs. So this is what a refugium is supposed to look like, you guys. It's not supposed, well, I got to get that torch back in the main display. That is the one that had BJD several months ago, and I saved it, and I've been lazy and didn't get it back in the main tank yet. But look at all the coralline algae. It's just going absolutely nuts because I don't really clean this tank. It just is what it is, you know? But yeah, so just a ball of Kato in a bare bones spot in the tank, in the sump or whatever, that's not a refugium. A refugium, by definition, is a refuge. Well, this is not going to work. Big Hollywood stunner chalice in here. It's a refuge away from predation. So it's supposed to be a place. Y'all can't see nothing. There we go. It's supposed to be a place where things like stomatellas and whatnot can go to breed without, being eaten. So anyway, that's the fuge. In the fuge section of my sump, there's just a little sand and some algae down there. My heaters, that's it. I don't have anything in there yet. I have room to put things if I need them to. Need a place to put them. But anyway, that's the fuge. Let me flip this back around. So what do we think about that? It's a pretty cool thing, I think, in my opinion. I really like having a remote refugium on my tank because you can really sort of you can really dial it in, and you have more room, which, I mean, I'm fortunate that I have a room behind my tank that I can put all my fish crap in. That was my wife's idea, by the way. So yeah, there we go. All right, let's get this thing straight because it's not. Okay, that looks better.
Paperboard 67 is the next comment.
All right. What's your opinion on frozen food brands affecting phosphate levels? What brand should I switch to? I'm out of breath. I've been running, getting my boat and everything ready to go right. I mean, like we were down to the minute before we had to start the live stream. I've been using the San Francisco Bay brand religiously, and I'm regretting it. So with that brand, I would recommend rinsing it. One of the best foods on the market is Mermaid's Delight. Very good food. They make it. It's a little small husband and wife business. You can find it if you Google it. It's fine. They're not sponsored, none of that. It's a really good food. Rod's Food is another good one. There's another one that I'm trying to think of. I've been using, well, you asked specifically for frozen, but I've been using the Easy Reefs line of food that Biota and Coral View carry. My fish love it. And I've got a Bang-Eye Cardinal that has never eaten pellets ever. It's only ever eaten frozen, but it eats these pellets. So that's pretty cool too. But yeah, if you're having a phosphate problem, just rinse the frozen, thaw it out in a little bit of RODI water, toss that water away, and then feed the fish. That's what I would do. Let's see, nitrate back right. It was way too low. Yeah, that's not a situation we want to be in. Lyre tails I feed 3 times a day, 5 cubes cut up accordingly. That's okay. So yeah, I could definitely see how you would have a phosphate problem. That's a lot of food, which, I mean, you have to do that for anthias, but I would recommend rinsing that one. Are there any reef fish species that you can keep groups of together with minimal problems? Yes. Anthias are a good one. The Bartlett anthias, the lyre tail anthias, they're kind of a more expensive fish though. There are some cardinals that most people don't know about. There are yellow striped cardinals that you can look those up. They're almost like saltwater tetras. They don't get very big, maybe about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. You could easily have a group of 5 or 10 of those. That species of cardinal probably will be okay. The problem with like schooling or shoaling fish is most of the time in a confined space like what we have in our tanks, a male and a female will end up pairing off, and then they will fight the others to death. Bang-eyes do that. Pajama cardinals do it. Firefish do it. Firefish, contrary to popular belief, are actually not a schooling fish at all. They pair up, and it's usually just the 2 of them. What other fish? There is a little cardinal. Man, I can't remember the name of it, but I just saw them when we went to Reef-A-Palooza. They were at Worldwide Corals. It's some type of a little cardinal. Red spot cardinal, maybe? They're very simple looking fish, mostly just silver with a little red on the tail. I think it might have been a red spot cardinal. Those, we even commented, my wife did, that it just looks like a freshwater tetra. But it was definitely a saltwater cardinal. Yeah. But those would be good options. Trying to think. Mono fish, if you have a big tank, like I could put probably 4 or 5 mono, MONO fish in my tank, and it would be okay. They do get pretty big though, so you wouldn't be able to put them in a small tank. But they're a really cool schooling fish. They stick together really well, as long as you got a pretty big tank. So, yeah. Anything cool at Reef-A-Palooza? Yes, there were lots of cool things. There's a light by, I'm trying to remember their name, Next Gen, NEXGEN, Next Gen Reef Lighting, I believe it is. Yeah. My wife's going to go get a business card to make sure we get the name right. They have a light that they have developed that is an LED light, but it is in strips like the old school T5, like the multiple bulb T5 fixtures. And the way that they have it all done, there's no shadows in the tank, which is really, really cool for people who like Aquapora and SPS.
Next gen reef.
Next with no T.
Yeah,
She's going back.
I didn't bring it.
That's close enough. But yeah, so it's like an old school T5 setup with like 8 bulbs in it. And the LEDs, not only do they go the full length of the bulb, but they're all the way around half of the bulb. And each tube is removable. So it's tunable to whatever color you want. So if you want more UV spectrum, yeah, okay. If you want more UV spectrum, you can take a white bulb out and add a UV bulb in. But also, the bulbs are the LEDs in the bulbs, you can adjust the colors of those too. So there's like infinite number of possibilities of lighting spectrum that you could set up your tank with. Now, granted, this is probably for like people who like really want to dig into that. Probably not for somebody who just wants a decent light. This is the name of the company, Next Gen Reef Tech. Really cool people. Not sponsored. They didn't give me a light, nothing like that. They were just really neat. We hung out in line together for quite a while, and I think their light was a really neat light, especially for those people who like that old school T5 look. There really wasn't much shimmer to it, but it's still a really cool light in my opinion. So what else? The Lamont company, who we were tank mates with, my wife came up with that. They were in the next booth over from us. They have developed, it's the same people that have that spin touch device that most of the fish stores use to test your water parameters. They have developed a device now that hangs inside the tank. It spins once every 15 minutes and introduces clean water to the inside of the unit. And it uses disposable medical grade sensors to test and monitor the tank's water parameters and report them to an app without you having to do anything. So it's pretty neat. There's 2 gripes that I have about it, and they're just complaints. It's a brand new product. They're just getting into beta testing. They were talking about having me try one out, you know, and just offer feedback and stuff like that. So my 2 chief complaints with that is it doesn't test everything that we need yet. They're working on it. It'll do ammonia and phosphate, I think, and potassium. It won't do like calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium yet, but they did say they're working on the magnesium test. There were several things that it would do. You can look it up, and it's called the Pulse. You can look it up and find some information about it. My second complaint is that it's pretty freaking big. The whole unit is probably 7 inches in diameter and sticks out from the glass about 4 or 5 inches. It is pretty large, but technology over time is going to get smaller. So, you know, in a couple of years, who's to say that they don't have that thing testing for everything, and it's also half the size. So yeah, those were 2 of the really coolest things I saw at Reef-A-Palooza. There was DeLua had all of their stuff out, which I'm running DeLua lights on my tank now. I'm not running the pop blooms anymore. I kept them though, because if I do a frag tank or something, they're going to be perfect for that. So I kept them. I like them. I didn't change because I don't like them. I changed because DeLuas are freaking amazing, and there was an opportunity for me to get some. A freaking ant bite, man. That dude stung the crap out of me. DeLua, yes. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I do that. So they have wave makers, return pumps, and skimmers that they just dropped onto the market, and they all work on the DeLua ecosystem app. So you can control all of your return pumps, all your wave makers, your skimmer, and all of your lights from the one DeLua app. Very cool, very top tier. One thing I didn't care for with the DeLua wave makers, they did a really cool thing where the controllers are colored and the devices are colored as well. So like the skimmer's blue, the blue controller goes with the skimmer. The return pumps are red, wave makers are green, but they made the propeller of the wave maker itself neon green. Now, I've kind of read through the grapevine, watching comments and stuff, that maybe they're going to have a replacement propeller in black. I have not confirmed that. They have not said they're doing that. I kind of feel like it might be a thing that they're going to do. I hope that they do. And but yeah, so there's going to be more DeLua stuff coming in my tank real soon. So what else? There was a $40,000 white yellow tang. That's a thing that exists. It literally, the price was literally $40,000. That was insane. What else? Deltec has a massive skimmer that's coming out on the market. It's not a commercial one. It's like a residential one. So for people like us, I'm sure it's going to be ridiculously expensive. Anything that big is, but it's huge. It's like 3 feet tall and like 2 feet around. It'd be monstrous for like a 2,000, 3,000 gallon tank, but really cool to look at. There were some pretty cool biopellet reactors by a company that the name slips my mind. Chandler Rocks, Chandler Rocks. They are now making saltwater safe aquarium decorations that are in cool shapes, like Star Wars AT-ATs and, you know, like pirate ships and stuff like that. So that's really neat. I don't know why nobody has done that so far. I was actually going to start doing it and 3D printing them, but I just haven't got there yet. It still might be a thing that I offer, but the problem that I have with that is, like, I don't sell any 3D prints that I don't design, and I don't design artistic things. Like I design mechanical things, you know, to solve problems. But it might be something that I get into eventually. But yeah, Chandler Rocks, that was pretty cool. Look those up, see if you have some. They're kind of expensive, but they're all handmade. So, I mean, I get it. What else was super awesome? I'm trying to think. The macro lady, she had a good showing. She sells macro algae. That's where all my macro algae came from. She had some nice looking stuff and some seahorses and whatnot at the show. P&W, y'all have seen the videos on the social media of the guy walking around at the shows, and he's got this harness on with the little reef tank on his chest. That's P&W. I'm going to get to everybody else's comments in a minute. I'm just trying to cover Reef-A-Palooza at the moment. He has come up with a Pico aquarium controller. So that's pretty cool. It'll run a pump and a wave maker. It has a temperature sensor and a light plug-in. And I believe, check into it, I think that it has an app. Very simple. But yeah, pretty neat little thing for like little nano tanks and pico tanks and stuff. If you want a little budget, the guy put a bunch of money in R&D in this thing, you know, but a nice little controller for little small simple tanks, that was pretty cool. Obviously there was corals out the wazoo. I mean, everybody had corals like crazy. Oh, Novel Aquatics, Novel. That is Salem Clemens brand. He's now partnered with Julian Sprung from Two Little Fishies. Julian is going to have his people manufacture Salem's products, and it's a new line of reef keeping products that we can use to reduce DOCs, like carbon, like you run carbon in your sump or in your media basket or whatever. He's found some new materials that we can use. I don't think they're carbon, but they suck up 2 different kinds of DOCs. So it helps you really target clean your tank if you're having a toxin problem or something like that. He has a trace element that's coming out. It's a powdered version of a trace element that you basically cannot overdose. And also you can't underdose it. I don't know how he did that, but the dude's really smart. So, no, all this has all been announced. I'm not telling anybody any secrets. So yeah, it's so Novel Aquatics dropped some new products on us. Easy Trace is that one I was just talking about. It's going to be really neat. Be really easy for a lot of people to just add some extra trace elements to their tank without doing intensive ICP testing. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure there was a ton more stuff. Hang on. I didn't want to blow you guys' eardrums out. Coral View dropped the Duet, which was pretty neat. It's an automatic water change type of system. It's got 2 pumps on it, pump out, pump in, pretty neat. And it also acts as a control unit. So if you want to get into hydros, and that's the only functionality that you want right off the bat is just the automatic water change feature, you can get in with that control device, and then you have access to the entire Hydros app, and you can expand out later. That was neat. They did an update for the Maven. They've been having problems with contamination in the lines, and they believe that they have that sorted out. So now the units for the Maven are officially about to go out to a bunch of people for real world beta testing. So I know everybody's kind of feeling some kind of way about the Maven, but I'm still excited for when that thing works correctly. I want one, you know. So anyway, that's enough about Reef-A-Palooza. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing updates. Let me get caught up on the comments. When I see that behind the scenes plumbing having a sump, I get intimidated immediately. Yeah, it's what happens is you do one thing, you know, you put your sump in place, there's a line in, there's a line out, there's a return pump, and you put your skimmer in there. Super easy, super simple. 6 years from now, it looks like some crazy alien bred computer organic thing, because you just keep adding a thing here, you add a thing there, you route a line here, you route a line there, wherever, and then you end up with spaghetti. That's just how it goes. So yeah, what's going on, Camaro? Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Noel says, I got a pair of bang eye cardinals. Both were feeding great and were in top condition. They both died within a day of each other. No symptoms at all. They just died. Any ideas? That could have been a pathogen. Velvet will do that, and so will Brooklinella. Possibly, if they were both male, they may have fought each other to the death. That could be a thing that could happen too. I can't really think of any other reason why that would happen other than a pathogen or fighting. Especially if they were the only 2 fish in the tank that did that. I think those are probably your best options. Pretty cool for sure. Looks good. Awesome. How concerned should I be about a hydroid problem? Well, it depends on which hydroids they are, and I don't know how to ID them. There's not many things that eat them. Peppermint shrimp sometimes will nibble at them a bit. Let me put it this way. If I see hydroids pop up in my tank, I take that rock out and I do a bleach bath on that rock, scrub it clean, put it back in the tank. Unfortunately, I can't do that with my rocks now because they're all well, these ones are not. But this big structure up here is silicone to the bottom glass of the tank. It's literally glued in there. These ones I could take out over here. But hydroids, I mean, this is one of those things. Are they really that big of a deal? They really don't hurt anything. Most of the time they go away on their own, but sometimes they can just take over, you know? So it's a really hard question to answer, like exactly what could happen. Is Jersey corals a good place to get corals? I don't know. I've never dealt with them before. Never heard of them. I've heard of them. I've never used them. That's what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. So I really can't say from personal experience. I've heard of people keeping harems of wrasses, but I can't remember what species. Wrasses. It would have to be probably like the fairy or flashers. Like you could get a male and a couple female McCosker's flasher wrasses, maybe. All of the bigger wrasses, I don't think you could do that with. So it's probably either fairies, flashers, or maybe solons, like the red-headed solon, which is a fairy wrasse. Maybe those little small, the like 3 to 4 inch species. I don't think a chorus wrasse would do very good in a harem like that. So it's got to be the flashers. But I don't know that for sure. I've never looked into keeping a harem of wrasses. Pretty interesting, though. They're beautiful fish. Have you ever used a UV light that you just drop into the refugium? No.
Sterilizer.
Yeah. UV sterilizer, right, yeah. Pretty much just like dropping in a waterproof UV bulb. Just curious if it'll do anything positive. It'll do plenty of negative things, like burn your retinas in your eyes. If there's a sheath over the light to protect you from UV exposure, then you're okay. But no, I never recommend that anybody put those open bulb UV into their tank anywhere. Yes, they will do stuff. It will kill anything that gets close enough to it that it can be effective against, which has to be very close to the bulb. So I would not recommend that. There are some drop-in UVs now. Ice Cap makes one that you can put into the sump, hook up a pump. It just runs the water through the UV. That's a good idea. But no, not the open bulb ones. Grind's Not Grave says, give us a tank update. Well, I forgot to set the lights to a less blue scenario. It looks way more blue on the camera than actually it doesn't. That's actually pretty freaking close to what it looks like right now. But yeah, we can do a tank update in just a minute. So the main thing here, I'll pop the lid. The main thing is that I've updated the lighting, which you really can't really see very much. This is the Delua X4 SPS Beast Mode Bundle, which is a whole lot of words. There are 4 of the X4s up there, and right in front of the X4s right here, there are 4 36-inch Vitamini strips in the Fragger coloration. So that's the most recent update to the tank, other than just a few corals and stuff. I really like the lights. They give the tank a really good color. It's very, very blue through most of the day. Of course, I can turn that down, but yeah, my corals seem to really like it too. The spectrums are very good. I've seen problem algae spots that I had with the other lights. I don't really know why. Maybe it's a spectrum thing or whatever, but after putting these on there, those are gone. So Delua spent a whole lot of time looking at lighting spectrum and which LEDs they used to make these lights. So yeah, very pleased with that. Otherwise, my nitrate and phosphate and alkalinity have gone into consumption like crazy. So I'm having to dose alkalinity and nitrate and phosphate to the tank to try to keep things happy. Right now, my nitrate is like 2 and my phosphate is 0.004. So both very low, which is great for an aquaporo tank, but this is a mixed reef. So we'll grab a lens and take a look at it here in just a minute. Hang on one sec. I need water. And I already need another cough drop. My nose is runny. I don't know why. Sorry about that. Live streams they're live. You get what you get. All right, let me find my lens and we'll take a look at the corals. I did get a new lens at Reef-A-Palooza. Polyp Lab has made this lens, and they made it because it has 2 lenses in it, a 15,000K and also that other one on the bottom. And one is to be used with heavy blue lighting, and the other one is to be used when you're using a more full spectrum and you still want your corals to really fluoresce and pop. I haven't really figured out the trick to the light settings with using these just yet. But anyway, that's a new product that just came out as well. Full disclosure, they gave me that to take a look at it and see what I think. And I think it's cool. It's a well-designed product, but I just haven't figured out the secret to making it look really super good yet. So let's flip this around. We'll put the lens on and go take a look. So this is one of the new corals that I got at Reef-A-Palooza. That little acro right there, that's a Wolverine acro. This guy photobombs literally everything. He's like, what are you doing, man? And if anybody can ID the species on these fish, that would be amazing. I don't know what they are. I got them when they were really tiny. Obviously, they're in the damsel family, but I can't ID the exact species. But they're super chill, man. I got 3 of them, and my little bristle tooth back there. So yeah, that coral right back there that one's still mad, and that one right there is still mad. But the other ones all around it are not mad. They're perfectly happy. Well, this one's a little bit mad too. Big aptasia, that's the thing. So, but yeah, it's the nutrients are the problem, I think. But the acros love it. Check this one out over here. That big guy back there, he's got tons of feelers. This is a Walt Disney that's starting to color up on me. It's getting some pink after adding the Delua lights. Feather duster. Just going to kind of show the corals off. This is an Australian gold torch. I need a little bit more flow in the tank, but I had a wave maker crap out on me, so I'm dealing with what I can right now. But everything's growing out really nicely. I'm super pleased with the way things are going. That's a Garf bonsai up there that won't let me. There we go. That's a Garf bonsai. And actually, I don't know what this little acro is. I think it's going to color up to just a green, like a pale green. All these came from Terra Reef. This thing, I can't even I can never get a good picture of this thing, but you can see how blue the tips look. Those things are like neon blue in person. So it's a deep green base and transition out to the blue tips. And I mean, obviously that thing's doing great. This one too. And that Monty is finally plating out on the overflow. It's going to pretty much, that thing's pretty much going to cover that entire overflow eventually. So that's super cool. Big Fat Duncan. Let's see. Yep, down here, that's a Project X Fungia plate doing its thing. And mushrooms going everywhere. These are St. Thomas mushrooms. Oh, here's some little zoa garden like we were talking about earlier. See how they just grew together? That was just two different rocks, you know? So you could put something else right there and go that way. And the Galaxia. Now, my Micromusa are really mad. See? And I think that's because I took the alkalinity up a little too high the other day, or a little too quickly, rather. Made a mistake because I'm human and I do that. But I think that's what's going on with the Micromusa. They're just a little bit pissed. See? They're still alive. They're still healthy. They're just mad. And so, oh, there's Maynard doing his thing. He likes to sit on these candy canes. I don't know why. This is his favorite spot in the tank. Yeah. But anyway, this is one of my favorite pieces. I've never had an Australian gold before. I wouldn't say they're hard to get, but they are usually pretty expensive. And this came from Terra Reef. I know he has some more. And yeah, I don't have the coloration on the phone really set to what a real color looks like, but that's pretty close. They have those bright yellow stripes in them. So anyway, that's sort of where the tank, oh, lights. Yep. The Deluas, the X4s with the, let me see if I can get a good, yeah, there you go. You got the strips. The strips are actually off right now. I don't know why they're off right now. I don't think they should be. I must have turned them off by manually and forgot to turn them back on. But yeah, got the X4s going down through there. They just hang from the wood canopy. And yeah, so anyway, super cool. And then the world famous like 9-inch rock flower anemone is still kicking. That's one of our favorites for sure. All right. Flip that back around. I can just leave the light clip on. That way, if we go visit the tank again in a little while, wonder what happens if I do it this way. Hang on. Why did it do that? And it went back automatically. I literally just put this over the camera and it zoomed into my eyeball. That was weird. All right. So cool. Yeah. Doing good. Definitely has hit a sort of a stride. I have to get the nitrate and phosphate under control. It is lower than I want it to be, and I need to be bringing it up. Okay, let me try to get caught up on some of this stuff. Got a 1,000-gallon outdoor freshwater pond. What should I put in it? Bluegill. That's what I would put in it. Bluegill perch. No kidding. Like, no, I'm not even joking. That's what I would do. Hey man, I want to forgive me on the Halo controller bug. Here's my new set so far. I have to ask. X4, X2, XN, 2 minnows, and an XP8. Well, that's a pretty cool hydro setup. I'm not really sure what your question is. I'm sorry about that, but I wasn't picking up what you're putting down there. Could it have been due to how they were caught? Yeah, if they were wild caught, it could have been. Absolutely. You were talking about the bang-eye cardinal fish earlier? Yeah, it could have been. Hey, by the way, if you guys are hanging out here and you don't know me, I'm Logan. I run Reef Rookies along with my wife, sitting right over there. And we would like for you to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of stuff that you can find on our website. Because we don't have any corporate sponsors, this stuff is sponsored by me. Reefrookies.com is the website. There's information, blogs. There's link to my Etsy store where I do 3D printed aquarium things. There's an Amazon product recommendation list for things that I recommend to get on Amazon. And consultations. If you want to talk to me one-on-one for an hour or 15 minutes, something like that, about your specific tank and build a plan to find more success, we can do that. Anyway, I'm setting up a 40-gallon Fowler bare bottom, negative space, artificial rockscape, skimmer, etc. Will 2 Polyp Lab Genesis box cover the lack of sand? I don't know. It's really hard to put a quantifiable number on like material space like that. What I would say is that you're probably just going to have to add Genesis blocks until you find a balance. It's going to be really hard to nail that off the rip. Might take 2, might take 4, might take 14. It's hard to say. You're just going to have to wing it. You're just going to have to put the tank together, set it up, get some stuff in it, and start and see how the parameters go. If you start having really high nitrate and phosphate issues, then you might have to add more blocks and put something like PNS, the purple bacteria, in there, or marin nitrobiotic. Might have to use something like that. Get those bacteria in there that really consume that nitrate and phosphate. It's real hard to put a number on that. How would you raise nitrate naturally without adding fish or chemicals?
Check your audio. Check your audio.
My audio?
Yeah, there's audio issues. Hang on.
Did I hit a button? Is it? We're checking the audio. Hang on. I need to be able to hear myself back. Computer. Is it? We're checking the audio. Hang on. I need to be. Computer. Is it going in and out? Let me talk. Let me just talk for a minute so we can get a sound on what's going on with the audio. I don't think I hit any buttons.
It's going in and out.
Okay. There is a button on the bottom of the. See if that fixed it. Yeah, I think that fixed it. All right, so let's keep going for just a minute and see if that fixes it. The little plug that goes into the phone, there's a button right on the bottom of it, and that was touching the tripod. So sorry about that, everybody. There's a delay even between here and there. It sounds better? Okay, I think we're good to go. Thank you all for bearing with me. Back to the question. How would you raise nitrate naturally without adding fish or chemical? Man. So nitrate, I'm thinking, hang on. Nitrate is a result of nitrification. So it comes from something breaking down into ammonia and then nitrite. So the only way to add it without adding.
Somebody else said you still keep going. I'm gonna hit it.
Maybe I have to change my microphone. Hang on. We're gonna keep trying. She's gonna go back and listen to the stream. This has still got the green dot in the correct place. Yeah, That's fine. Maybe this is not plugged in as it should be. Everything should be good. So let me just talk for a few minutes and she's going to let me know. I'm sorry, guys. Technical difficulties happen sometimes. It's not something that we can anticipate. We just have to fix it when it does happen. I do have another microphone that I can try. Maybe this one's, ooh, I wonder if it's dying. I haven't used the other one it shouldn't be dying. Let me go grab the box for the other one. I'm sorry. Everybody just bear with me.
You're fine now. You're not good now.
Oh, it's good now? Okay. It could be an internet thing too. So my wife said that it's good now, so we're just going to keep going. So back to the nitrate thing. The only way you're going to raise it without adding fish or chemicals is by doing something that's going to add more ammonia to the tank. You could feed the tank a little bit heavier. Back in the day, 20 years ago, we would literally pee in the tank. It introduces ammonia. But there's really, I don't think, any other way that you're going to be able to do that without introducing some form of organic ammonia, either by something decaying or just putting it in there straight. Some people, one of the novel aquatics products is an ammonia product that has ammonia and urea in it. And that's what it's for. It's for dosing to the tank to naturally increase nitrate and phosphate through nitrification process rather than just dosing nitrate. Just dosing nitrate limits the bacterial activity in the tank. Ammonia dosing, which is something that's just sort of kind of coming onto the market, raises those things through the bacterial processes, which keeps your bacteria in your tank bolstered and healthy and happy. So we still got a long way to go on that. There's a lot of studying that needs to be done around that. Don't go dumping ammonia in your tanks, okay? But I have ammonia dosed this tank 2 times previous to now, and it does work as long as you do it correctly, and you have to go very, very slow. But what we have seen, other people and even myself, is that once you start ammonia dosing the tank, the corals in the tank seem to flip a switch and they begin consuming the ammonia more because it's easier for them to use it as a fuel source. See, wow, I'm getting off track here. When corals consume nitrate and phosphate, mostly nitrate, they have to break it down back into ammonia before it's usable for them. So if you skip that and you put ammonia in the tank that they can use up, it's more of a direct food source. And what happens when you start ammonia dosing a tank is the corals become more dependent on that. And so you don't end up increasing the nitrate and phosphate because the corals are sucking the ammonia up before it can get converted. But it works. It'll keep a system running at ultra low nutrient and also still keep the corals fed and happy and fat. So there's some cool stuff out there about ammonia dosing. Anyway, moving on. Someone said dog. Yeah, that's our 3-legged guy. It's what?
You're good. Everything's fine. You're good.
Oh, I'm good? Okay. She was freaking out over there about something.
It ain't you. It's
So Pitts Joseph, I think, said nitrobiotics update. So I believe that it has just about taken care of the dinoflagellates in the sea cardinal. If I move this over just enough so that you can see that. The tank is still a little bit dirty, but all of this crap on the rocks and on the glass and all that stuff is algae. It's not dinoflagellates like it was. There are still dinos in the tank, but I haven't really been doing anything to this other than dosing the nitrobiotic. I haven't really been cleaning the tank. Like, I've not done anything else to it. And I'm doing that on purpose just to see what extent that product can help with. There's green hair algae in there right now. But the corals that are in there, which there's not many, but the corals that are in there are fat and happy and healthy, even with the Ostreopsis in there, which are toxic. So I think that it is, it's helping. I don't think it's going to be a solution, but I think that it's definitely something that we can add to the other things that we do and come out with a good result in the end. So if we're running a UV sterilizer like for Ostreopsis, if we couple that with the use of nitrobiotic, I think everything will be more effective. So I think it's a really great product. I've only used it on the one tank, but I have seen a significant difference from using it on that tank. So there's going to be a thing. All right, I'm way behind. Any tips on getting a 1-year-old clown to leave the back corner of the tank other than when it's feeding time? Rearrange the tank. That's going to be the only thing you can do. They have claimed that back corner as their territory. So the only way for you to bust that up is to rearrange the tank where they cannot recognize their territory anymore, and they will go find a new one. So rearrange your rocks. You can put a pile of rocks in that corner that don't belong to them, and it'll force them out of that corner and into another part of the tank. That's pretty much your only option. Okay, now everybody's talking about the audio issues. It's feedback. Sorry. Cutting in and out. The mic is fine. Oh, you know what? This thing is super sensitive to when I move around.
That's probably what happened because you
Yeah.
move around a lot. So
I need a new microphone bad. I want to get a DJI, but they're like pretty expensive. Okay, we're getting caught up here. Would neonitro work when the bacteria population is strong? Would it work for what? Neonitro will raise your nitrates no matter what the bacterial situation in the tank is. I mean, you're dosing straight nitrate. So if which you can DIY that too. So yeah, I mean, if you're adding that to the tank, you're going to eventually see an increase. Sometimes it takes fiddling around with the amount that you're adding to the tank every day to overcome the bacterial consumption.
Seems that the echo is still there.
It's echoing. No, it's not supposed to be.
You're good.
Hang on a minute.
We might be having internet issues because I'm having trouble.
Are you having trouble too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not with anything you're doing right now, but just like.
I'm going to turn this microphone off and get my other one and turn it back on. Yeah. Oh, it's probably blowing everybody's ears out because it turns on when you take them out of the thing. All right, let's try this one for a little while, see how that goes. Let me know how the audio sounds. It shouldn't have been dead. The case has still got power, so it's charging them. I think we should be okay. But like my wife said, it could be that we're having internet issues. We have internet issues here all the time. Even though we just got brand new AT&T fiber installed.
It has been better than Spectrum, though.
She said it has been better than Spectrum. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, let me know if the audio still sounds messed up. We may have to like stop and restart the live stream, possibly. We'll see. Should you replace live rock that is treated in copper? Well, if you want to keep corals and invertebrates in that tank, you probably should, because it's going to absorb that copper as the tank is being treated with it, and it's going to leach that stuff out over time for a very long time. Now, you can run Cuprosorb or heavy metal absorption media in the tank to try to absorb the copper before it becomes a problem. Audio sounds good, Jay? Cool. Maybe that microphone is the problem. I've dropped that thing like 4 or 5 times. Maybe I need to switch to this one. But yeah, so you could run some heavy metal removing media, but I wouldn't even take that chance. I would take that rock out. I would use that rock for something else, but I wouldn't put it in a reef tank. I mean, if it's a fish only tank or whatever, it's going to be fine. No big deal. But in a tank with corals and invertebrates, I don't think it's going to work for you.
Okay. 2 seconds. Tina said when you reached over to turn the feed up so we could try and hear the cutting in and out is when the echo started and it's still there. So did you turn your phone up the volume?
No, I didn't. All right. Hang on. Let's do this. These microphones have different modes on them. There's an echo mode, but it's in the mode that isn't.
I'm going to check it back here again.
So is there still an echo, or do we not have an echo? Sounds good? Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, everybody's saying it sounds okay. All right, good. Yeah, I may have hit a button earlier and put it into an echo mode. It has that. All right, very good. Let me go back. Where were we? When testing, does it matter where you pull your water test from? Nope, doesn't matter. I usually get my water out of the Refugium area. It doesn't matter. All the water has got the same parameters. You would have to, with the test kits that we have that we use at home, it's going to be fine no matter where you pull it from. You would really have to like ICP tests to see the differences in it, you know. So don't worry about it. Pull it from wherever you pull it from. Skit runs a macro algae tank and they consume nitrate like crazy. Yeah, they do. NO3 is 0.39. Yep, that's low. Yeah, I would definitely recommend raising your nitrate for sure, Skiff. You want, with that phosphate level, you want your nitrate up around 10 or so. How long to cycle a tank with real live rock? So if you have real live rock, hang on a sec. If you have real live rock, it already has the bacteria and everything in it that are going to break down the ammonia and everything for you. So it's entirely possible to set up a brand new tank using real live rock and never experience a nitrogen cycle because the bacteria are already there. And see, we need to get away from this thinking in the hobby that the nitrogen cycle is just a thing that happens and then it's done. That's not the case. The nitrogen cycle is a cycle. That's why that word is in there. And it's the continuing conversion of ammonia into nitrite, nitrate, and nitrogen gas, which is the fourth part that nobody ever talks about. So if you think about it with that in mind, if you put those rocks in there, the bacteria is already in those rocks because they are already alive. So what is responsible for the nitrogen cycle will already exist in the tank. So it's very possible that you could do that and never see ammonia or nitrite show up and your cycle would be done. But really, it's that your nitrogen cycling bacteria are already established. You know what I'm saying? It's a little scientific thing. It's just it's one of those things. Like, do we really need to talk about it being a cycle and not a thing that happens? I don't know, but I give you guys the info that I can. Are gumdrop gobies beneficial if you have some coral warfare going on? Oh, no echo on your end. Okay, gumdrop gobies. I'm not sure how gumdrop gobies would help with coral warfare, but I'm not super knowledgeable on that fish. I don't know. Do they keep corals clean? Do they eat like coral mucus or something? I'm not really sure how that would have an effect on anything. It's an interesting question, though. All right, so we're caught up with the comments. Very cool, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the first hour of today's live stream. We're going to be going for another 2 hours if my voice holds out. Thank you all for hanging out with us for this amount of time so far. Let's get some more questions and comments and stuff. They eat the mucus. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. Given that, I mean, I guess I could see how maybe they would help, but again, I'm not super familiar with it. But if they are keeping the mucus from one coral from getting to another coral, then I could see how it could potentially slow down chemical warfare. Maybe, it's just yeah, that's an interesting one. I'd have to read into that some more. Gloria says, do you quarantine corals? Can you show us your setup? Yeah, I can show you the setup. We did a little tank tour a little while ago, but we can do it again. Do I quarantine corals? No, I dip my corals, but no, I don't quarantine them. So let me pull the phone off of here. We can get the little coral lens, this guy right here. We'll flip this around and I'll start showing you guys the setup again. So this is my main display. It's a 180 gallon, 6 foot long tank. Delua SPS Beast Mode bundle lightings. These are the X4s right here. And then there's 4 of these Vitamini strips across, 2 across the front and 2 across the back. I got gyres for wave makers, which are getting changed out real soon with some Delua wave makers. And this is kind of what the tank looks like. Still got lots of room for corals. Some of them are pissed because my parameters are not exactly perfect where we want them to be. So let me, and if y'all haven't seen, this is my wine glass tank. Can take this off for that. This is also a Delua light. It's a Delua Illumagic Pixel. And that bird's nest is just about to touch all the sides of this thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Got some pom-pom xenia or pulsing xenia. That's a little digitata frag. There is a pom-pom crab, and right back there is a harlequin shrimp, and there's a purple stylopora right there, and a stomatella snail doing his thing. But yeah, anyway, that's the wine glass tank. And then if we go around here, this is the fish room where all of the equipment and whatnot happens. So this is all connected to the main display. So this is a 40 gallon breeder. This is my Refugium. And then my command wall with my dosers and all of my hydros and my UV sterilizer and all that.
Gloria asked about brown belly disease, where you group tank it when it gets it, and I know you've got the one there that had brown belly.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, and yep, that's my sump down there and my locker, and there's some really old reef keeping equipment up there, old skimmers and stuff. So anyway, pretty neat. So Gloria asked, if you get brown jelly on one coral, does it spread in the tank through the water? Yes, it does. Absolutely. So this torch right here, which looks kind of mad, but it's because the lights are off. This torch had brown jelly disease several months ago. And yeah, it was spreading through the tank and stuff. I managed to save half of it. This thing had 4 heads and now it only has 2. You can see the 2 dead ones right there. I've not cut them off yet. I need to do that and get it back mounted in the main display. But yes, it'll absolutely spread through the water. I have a video on brown jelly, Gloria, on my channel. It's back, I don't know, 10 or 12 ago. So you can check that out. We're gonna put it in the comments down here in just a minute. Freeman's Aquatic says ice cap is good too. Ice cap, what is good? I see you're still running filter socks. So you should 3D print a roller mat. These are not socks. These are 3D printed baskets with floss in them. But it is neat, to be able to 3D print a roller mat. But it's super cheap to, I sell these on my Etsy store too, by the way. But it's super cheap to have those, and then you just put this stuff in it. Literal queen size polyfill batting from Walmart. So that's what I run for my filter socks. So yeah, anyway, we'll back this thing back around the front. Hopefully the audio is being okay. Dog. He's only got 3 legs. His name's Minus because he's missing a leg. So let's go back around here and flip the camera. There we go. I'm back. It's me. Give me a sec. Let me put that down. Try not to push any buttons while I'm doing this. Okay. There we go. But yeah, a 3D printed roller mat would be that would be kind of cool. It's definitely something that I could probably do. I don't have any electronics like the motor or anything. I'd have to put all that together. But it would be a neat thing, for sure. Hey, Telegram, what's going on, man? It's, Minus made us giggle while road tripping. Yeah. Minus is that dog. All of our dogs are rescue dogs. Well, we only have the one now. We had another one. His name was Wheatley. He was the biggest, sweetest freaking goofball dog ever, and we had to have him put down last December. And yeah, Minus. We weren't going to get him, and what was his name? Otis was his name. Terrible name for a dog with 3 legs. And so anyway, we weren't going to get him, and then like my wife kept asking, could we go see him? And I'm like, no, we don't need another dog. And then I don't know, out of the blue, I was like, we could name that dog Minus because he's missing a leg, and that was it. We were on like that afternoon going to pick him up because we couldn't let him just stay named Otis. That wasn't good, Mike wants to know, which lights are these? This is the Dalua X4 SPS Beast Mode Bundle. So if you go to the Dalua website, DALUA, you can find it on their website. I have 4 of the X4s and 4 of the Vitamini strips in the Fragger coloration. I know it's a lot of stuff for me to say, but those are the lights. And yes, they are very blue right now, but it's just because of the time of the day in my sort of schedule that I have them set at. But usually through most of the part of the day, they are much less blue. And they have a really nice, like full spectrum look, but with a deep purple hue from the UV. So I really like them a lot. I made one for the wife's 1,000 liter discus tank. Works treat. Uses Bubble Magus 150 millimeter rolls. Cool. Very cool. That's it definitely would be a neat thing to sort of design and everything. Hey, Gareth, what's going on? Nice to see you here. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Jim, where are y'all road tripping to? Where are you headed? Another show? There's a show going on this weekend. Well, it might be over at this point. It was in North Carolina. It was Fragtopia, I think. That sounds right. There's a squirrel on our bird feeder. He's doing like 007. Y'all got to see this. Oh, yeah. Hang on. I mean, this is what you get when you live stream with me. Look at him. Dum dum ba dum 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 dum. Oh, squirrels are so silly. They don't bother us. We just let them do the thing on the bird feeder. I mean, what are you gonna do? Run out there every 5 minutes and try to shoo them off. We like animals, so yeah. Where are y'all going next? Tina wants to know. We are going to Reef Retreat, which is what, in May? June 5th, first week of June is Reef Retreat. We're going up there for that. And then that's the only other thing that we have planned right now because, several reasons, mainly budgetary concerns. Trips are expensive. So that's where we're at for the rest of this year, probably is just Reef Retreat. We were really trying to see if we could put it together to go to Reef-A-Palooza, California, in Anaheim, but it's still up in the air. My wife is over there with her fingers crossed like this, but yeah, you know, I don't know. Go buy a bunch of my 3D prints, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, do you have recommendations on lights for a fowler tank? Says Gloria. Bring me that. Here comes another aminal. This is Madam Poopy Toe Beans. Say hello to Madam Poopy Toe Beans. And yes, this is her normal self. Just she doesn't even see herself on this. There she goes. Whatever. Anyway, also called ma'am. Sometimes
Splashed her butthole.
look at my fancy butthole. Anyway, lighting for a fowler tank. It really doesn't matter. Fish don't care much about lights as long as they have some that tells them when the daytime is daytime and when it's nighttime. They really don't care. So you don't have to spend like huge amounts of money on lighting for a fowler tank. Just some simple LEDs, you know, full spectrum, whatever, that's fine. You don't need to do anything special for a fowler. Now, if you think that you might be gonna go do a reef tank later, then it might be worth it to go ahead and get the lights that you could put on a reef tank. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just get whatever you can, to be honest with you. Massachusetts headed home to Maryland. Oh, cool. All right, man. Well, have a safe trip. Thank you for tuning in while y'all are headed down the highway. Be safe and careful and all that good stuff. Temperature just dropped down here. We were in the 80s last week and it went into the 40s over the weekend. I don't know. We had a cold snap, but it's starting to warm back up. Sun's out. It's a beautiful day today. I'm going to go tear the speckled trout up in the morning, I hope. Anyway, did you print a mechanism to mount your LED strips? No, it comes with the SPS bundle. It mounts. I can take you back over there and show you. The Vitamini strips, because they all come from Delua, they all mount together. So it's mounted like that. They have these like sliders that mount to the center rail, and it comes off and it just clips the Vitamini strips in place. See? So no, I didn't have to come up with any sort of crazy mechanism or anything for that particular thing. There have been many things that I have had to come up with contraptions for, but so far that was not one of them. They send that with the kit. So, all right, let's see. Your opinion on Fiji Cube aquariums? They're decent enough. I don't have any trouble with them. The same people that makes Fiji Cube are the people who make the sea cardinal tanks that I'm a brand partner with. It's the same people, and they're decent enough. I've had that little tank in here running now for, shoot, it's been over a year, 18 months maybe. That little tank's been set up in here running. But yeah, they're okay tanks. Fiji Cube, yeah, I haven't really ever heard anything too bad about them. You know, they seem to do the job better than, you know, others might. Ooh, I kicked my tripod. I haven't really heard any terrible things about any of the aquarium brands except for the old Red Sea stuff. The new Red Sea stuff isn't old enough to have any problems yet. So we don't know if what they've done to change it is going to matter 10 years from now. But we'll see. Hopefully they did. I'm sure a company like that have taken the actions that they need to take to correct those problems that those tanks were having. But yeah, we're definitely entering the era now where the old, like, oceanic ones and stuff like that, they're like 30, 40 years old now. It's time to retire those puppies. But yeah, Fiji Cube's fine. So anyway, what else we got going on? There was a question. Hang on. I have a question about phytoplankton. Cool. Yeah, ask your question. Let's get them going. Can you farm your own copepods and how? Yeah, absolutely you can. The basic idea is that you have a container of some kind, and you have a bubbler that goes down in that container, not like a bubbler on a stone, like just like a rigid airline that goes down in there. You want big bloopy bubbles. You don't want little fizzy bubbles. So an airline down into the container, there's a lid on the container, gallon glass jar with a plastic lid works great. The ones for, if you look up the ones for mead making or wine making, they already have a grommet in the center of the lid. It's a plastic lid with a rubber grommet in it, so you can just shove a 3/8 airline right down through the middle of it, or a 1/4 inch airline. I mean, yeah. So container, airline, saltwater, copepods in, light that stays on for 12 to 14 hours a day. Doesn't matter what kind. Plant grow light works. Whatever. And then you feed it phytoplankton, and Bob's your uncle. You grow copepods. You can filter them out with special like brine shrimp nets. It's like a 3-stage net that'll catch like the tiny ones and then the next bigger ones. Although I don't know with copepods if you can get the baby, the Nauplii or whatever. I don't know. They're really small. Don't know if you could get those. But yeah, you could definitely culture your own copepods for sure. So in fact, if you join my Facebook group, it's Reef Rookies with Logan. You can get there easily from my website, which is reefrookies.com. If you join the Facebook group, you go to the featured posts section of the group. There is a featured post in there written by a guy named Brian talking all about his, that might have been a phytoplankton setup. I think it was. But pretty much the same thing applies for growing copepods as it does with phytoplankton. They're very similar in how you set things up to grow. It's just in one of them you're growing phyto, and in the other one you're growing copepods, and you feed them with the phyto. So it's actually not that hard to do, but the cultures do crash sometimes, so you have to keep things sterile and whatnot. But yeah, it's all right. There's the Facebook group link popping up just now. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. My Fiji Cube overflow box is mint on my 6-foot tank. Cool, yeah. Oh, that person's already in the group. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Facebook group. It's nice to have you in there, for sure. So, future plans for my tank. We're going to outfit the whole tank with DeLua stuff, basically. Wave makers, return pumps, a big DeLua great white skimmer is going to go on there. And we are sort of trying to plan and think about how we're going to accomplish building an 1,800-gallon display pretty much where I'm sitting right now. I don't know how we're going to manage to do that, but it's in the plan, and there's going to be a whole YouTube series on that. Everything from concept to design and literally every step of the process. It won't be the only thing that goes on the YouTube channel while that's going on. There will still be, educational content, digging into the science of reef keeping and whatnot, trying to break it down. But that's a thing that we're hoping to do in the future. Lyle Fishing says, when you coming fishing in Canada? September 15th. That's when we're going to do that. As soon as possible, man. I would love to come up there and experience, a different type of fishing. It would be amazing. I'm going in the morning. I poured some lures last night, so I've got some new stuff to try. Hopefully we can get into some fish and hopefully have a good time. My buddy went out last night, overnight, out to a local place and was absolutely smashing the big, like 30 to 40 inch bull redfish on a fly rod. He had a blast. He is currently sleeping because he's going back out with me tomorrow where we're going in the morning. But all seriousness, I know what I have now, but let's say a rookie is building a controller setup. What sensors are an absolute must? An absolute must for sensors. I mean, probably the easiest ones right off the rip are going to be salinity and pH. You know, I mean, those are pretty easily done with a probe. Anything else? I mean, temperature. I mean, well, time out. Lyle, are you talking about like DIYing your own controller, like a Reef Pi using Arduino and like a Raspberry Pi, or are you talking about getting into like Hydros or Neptune or GHL or something like that? Well, I need some clarification here. Hydros, Apex, GHL. Got you. Got you. Okay. And then Jay says, I double that. Walleye opens this weekend for me. Yeah. I've never caught a walleye. We don't have those fish down here. I've always heard they're like really hard to catch, like super finicky. But Lyle tells me he can like load a pickup truck bed full of them. I don't know, but you know, maybe one day that's a trip that could be taken. We have some family that lives in Alaska, and we've talked about going up there before too. But it's just not in the cards for us right now. But okay, so Hydros, APX, GHL. I mean, I don't really think anything is an absolute must. You know, I mean, the way I look at it, salinity really doesn't move around all that much. So the main sort of parameter tracking thing that I would like to have would maybe be a pH one. Obviously, Hydros cannot do nitrate, phosphate, calcium, alkalinity, magnesium. Well, they can do alkalinity with one of their products, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Magnesium, they can't do that yet. So if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, you're going to have to go with like Neptune or GHL. I think they can do some of those parameters too. So yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're getting there though. I don't know if you were here earlier for the beginning part of the stream, but at Reef-A-Palooza was that last weekend? Weekend before?
No, last weekend.
It was last weekend. Holy crap. Yeah, it was a week ago. The Lamont company, the people who make that spin touch thing that the fish stores have, they're making a version of that it's called the Pulse, Pulse. It just stays in the tank. It's a big device that goes in the tank. It cycles water through and tells you your water parameters. It doesn't tell you all the relevant ones yet. They're working on that. But I mean, technology is going to get us there eventually, where there's just a thing that sits in the tank and gives us a readout of our water parameters. And I cannot wait. Can't wait. Is there a generic XP8 for the Hydros? Not that I'm aware of. If there is, it would be some sort of a clone or a copy. I've not seen one. I don't think so. For me, it's the skimmer level. Oh, okay. For a hang on the back skimmer, ATO level, specific gravity, and pH. Yeah, I mean, those are good. I wasn't thinking about like skimmer level sensors and stuff like that. I do like the skimmer level sensor. That's a really nice thing. Skimmer cup fills up, turn skimmer off. Nice. Keeps it from overflowing onto the floor. Would I say it's an absolute must-have? Well, if I had a hang on the back skimmer, yeah. My skimmer, if it overflows, it just goes right back into the sump, so it's not a problem for me. But if I had hang on the back skimmer, yeah, I would call that a must-have. That's a very good sensor to have too. ATO, yeah, I would consider that a must-have as well, because I hate topping tanks off. I fill my big tank reservoir up once a week, and I don't have to worry about it. You know, it does the thing. Now, my wine glass tank and my other two tanks, I have to fill up bottles. I have gravity bottles on those, and it's little less nice, but not as good. Howdy, Apache says, I just got my new Red Sea Reefer 300 G2 during the weekend. Nice. Very cool tank. I hope it works very well for you for many, many, many years to come. Bortho wants to know if Lyle is going to run in Home Assistant or in its own environment. That's above my head. I don't know what you're even talking about. I don't have a smart home type of thing going on here. The smartest thing in this house is the fish tank. Yeah, no doubt. I work out of town, so since I can't see the ATO jug, I had to get a sensor to let me know it's low, and my girlfriend has to go fill it up or not. Well, yeah, I could see in that situation where that would be super beneficial. Definitely. Can I have a nasotang in my 2.6 gallon nano system?
I can even answer that.
Now, you know good and well that you cannot put a nasotang, and I don't even think a nasotang would fit into a 2.5 gallon tank. Maybe a baby. No, don't do that. Oh man, sorry. It's been an hour and a half. Do you know where your kids are? So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. If there's anybody tuning into the live just now, we have covered all kinds of stuff that we'll probably touch on again over the next hour and a half. How's everybody's tanks doing? What kind of problems are you having? If you've never been here before, my name is Logan. I run Reef Rookies, where we respectfully teach people about saltwater aquaria. And we have a really awesome Facebook group that you should join. And I sell stuff on Etsy. And we don't have any corporate sponsors. So, yay. Anywho, so we were talking about future plans for our tank. And honestly, I want to do the big tank because I want to get rid of all of the multiple tanks and just have the one big one. Tank police, yeah. And I would just really like to have the one big one. And we were thinking for a while if that could be done in glass, which I don't think that it can be. And also thinking about, getting an acrylic tank built, but that would be, it's going to be expensive no matter what, but that would be like on the top tier of expense levels is getting an acrylic tank built in the size and shape that we want it done in. And then we were trying to figure out how we were going to get it in the house and also out of the house if we ever had to move it. Something happened to me and we just had to get out of the hobby for medical reasons or whatever, had to get it out of the house. All that stuff went through our head. So now I've been thinking about doing a plywood build, which I've thought about before. It's always been really interesting to me. And I think it would be really cool, to do that. So I don't know. We're still a long way from that happening. 1,800 gallons is a huge tank with a lot of weight. And one of the first things that we have to do is get our slab inspected and make sure that the slab that is under me right now can support the weight of a tank like that. Saltwater is 9 pounds per gallon? Regular water is like 8.325 or something pounds per gallon. Saltwater is like 9.1, I believe, or something like that. So 1,000 gallons is 9,000 pounds. So, that's a lot. So 1,800 gallons, we're talking about 20,000 pounds after we get all the water in the tank and the wood and the rocks and everything in here. That's like parking 16,200. Yeah. Oh, well, I was close. Don't do math on camera. Okay. What did you do? 1,800 times what?
9.
9?
Yeah.
It's 16,000. Wow. My math was way off. But anyway, it's still, 16, probably 18,000 pounds by the time all the equipment and everything is in here. That's like 2 F-550 trucks parked in my dining room. So we got to make sure the slab can hold the weight first. That's like step one. I've got a picture of how we're going to do it though, if y'all want to hang on. I will show you. So my wife drew this up. We've had several iterations of this plan, and this is the closest thing that we've come up with so far. So that little shaded area right there is the tank that's behind me right now. It's actually to scale. So this is where my dining table is, and my wife is sitting over here right now. And so, yeah, the tank is going to come out this way and go all the way down this way. This is actually a little off from, I think, what we're going to do now. It was going to be 10 by 12, but I think it's going to be 8 by 12. Yeah. So somebody make a comment for me right quick, please, if you don't mind. Nothing's come through in a little while. So I want to make sure that all that's still working. Testing? Okay, it works. Good. So everybody's just listening. Nobody's commenting, and that's perfectly fine. I'm super excited that you guys are just here hanging out. Super cool, says Tina. Yeah, it would be. It would be cool. I mean, the goal, I think, is on the one side, which is going to be right here to my left. It's going to come out from the wall 8 feet probably, or maybe 9 feet, and then so it'll use a 8-foot piece of glass. And then the other way is 12 feet, but there's going to be overflow on either end and a column in the middle. So probably a 10-foot piece of glass. So it'll have 18 feet of viewable sort of glass. And the whole thing will be about 20 feet long, 21 feet long. And then 3 feet deep to the back and 2.5 feet tall. And we're limited in height because we only have 8-foot ceilings in this room. So we can't go any higher than that because I still need to be able to get in the top of the darn thing. So 2.5 feet tall. I mean, we could go down closer to the ground, you know, make it lower, but reef tanks are not really that enjoyable when they're that low. I don't like them down low like that. If you're standing there looking at the tank, you got to like bend over sideways or you have to sit down in a chair. So we're going to have it pretty much the same height as this one. This is a 2-foot tall tank. So add another 6 inches to the top of the tank. It'll be 2.5 and then 3 feet front to back. So going to be a very nice tank. Got to be a $30K budget for a tank like that. We haven't even got to talking about that part yet. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know how. We ain't figured out how we're going to do it. We just know it's something we want to do. Just go Polo Reef style 17K. Yeah. That is not within the realm of any sort of possibility that's ever going to happen for us. What size tank do you think beginners should get as their first saltwater tank? So I actually do have quite a bit of a thought about this, and I've thought about it for a very long time. And I think that a 40-gallon breeder is the perfect starter saltwater aquarium for multiple reasons. That tank has a really nice dimension. It's 18 inches high, 18 inches front to back, and 3 feet wide. So it's not huge. You could easily fit it on the wall pretty much anywhere in a house, right? But because of the 18 inches front to back rather than 12 like a 55-gallon, you got way more aquascaping room. You can make a really nice looking aquascape in a 40-gallon breeder. In addition to that, the easiest way to get started into saltwater aquaria and keep the tank doing what it should be doing is by doing 10% water changes every week. He said 40 breeder because it fits in the back of a BMW. I can't dispute that. All right. Maybe that's another good reason. But 10% water changes once a week. On a 40-gallon tank, that's only 4 gallons. So your water change very nicely fits into a 5-gallon bucket. You know, a 60-gallon tank, 10%, now you're doing a bucket and a half, and it's weird. You know, a 20-gallon tank is fine because you're only doing half a bucket, but then you're like, it's only half a bucket. It's 2 gallons, and nobody wants to do it. You know, they're like, it's just the 2 gallons. It doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything, which is wrong. It will, and it does. But no, people tend to not want to do it. They're like, it's such a small volume. It doesn't matter. It's a mindset thing, but it does matter. Whereas if you're mixing up an almost full 5-gallon bucket, there's the thing in the head, like this is sufficient enough to be a thing, right? So yeah. Additionally, with a 40-gallon breeder, you can put lighting on that tank that doesn't cost you a frickin' fortune and grow pretty much anything you want to grow. You could spend $300 on a really nice light and like a NiCrew 200 watt, the 3-bulb NiCrew 200 watt. You could get one of those, put that on a 40 breeder, and that's all the light you ever need for that tank. It's $300. You know, I think met $350 with the controller. And I mean, of course, you could put like 2 Delua X4s and some strips. You could spend more money if you wanted to, Well, you don't have to, so yeah, I honestly think that a 40-gallon breeder is like the perfect starter saltwater aquarium. That's what I'm trying to get out of my face. So anyway, yeah. What are you doing over there? Making fun of me? By the way, Retep, which BMW does a 40-gallon breeder fit in the back of? I have a favorite BMW, but I'm just wondering. Because I used to be a car guy in a previous life. And I still like cars, but I think I'm kind of done with that. I'm more of a boat guy now. I want to build a really cool boat too. So I don't know where we need to become millionaires in like the next 3 weeks, because I have all this stuff I want. Yeah. It's all this stuff that I want to do. Let's see. I upgraded my 6-month-old 15-gallon to a 30-gallon 3 weeks ago. Okay. Been dosing Fritz Turbo and Zyme 9, but I still have ammonia. I have 4 small fish, corals, and a nymph. I added the rock, the media. Let me see if I can say your name. Is it Eli's Trinidad? I think that probably is right. Eli, what test kits are you using, my friend? So some auto detailing, people say, what is that? Details, auto detailing? All right. The only nice thing about the small tanks is you can make water with grocery store distilled water. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the only nice thing. I mean, check that tank out over there. It's a 2-foot tall wine glass tank. You know what I mean? I mean, that's cool, right? I think so. I think that's pretty neat. But I get where you're coming from. The small tanks. You can use distilled water. Josh, no, distilled water shouldn't have any TDS in it unless they add things for flavoring, which can happen. Distilled water is, if it's distilled properly, it's one of the most pure forms of water that there are, because the distillation process takes everything out of the water. It's supposed to be absolutely pure. But if it's drinking water, they usually add things back. And yes, that would add TDS and stuff back in there. 2005 M3 E46, very cool car. I like that car a lot. And now I can't remember the name of the one that I like, which is stupid because I can usually spit that stuff out. It's the and the only reason I like it is because I saw one that was done really nicely with a wide body and all that stuff. It's the BMW that comes with the V12. Is it E41, E31 maybe? It's got the little bitty grill in the front, comes to a point, little slit headlights. That one, I like that one, but I can't remember which E series it is. Back when I originally got into reef keeping, I decided instead of spending $1,000 on Ecotech lights, I bought Viper Spectra and grew coral as well. 100%. Absolutely. Viper Spectra grow a lot of stuff. Listen, you don't have to spend 10 grand to get into the hobby. It's certainly possible. There are ways that you can do it, and some people, that's what they want to do, but you don't have to. There's so many options for equipment now that get the job done. It's just not needed, not required, rather, I should say. Building a new aquascape, says Tina. When doing the aquascape, do you use new dry rock or find used dry rock be safe to use considering all the breaking and gluing? I don't think it would be a problem to use used dry rock, but I always run it through a bleach bath first, and try to get it as clean as possible before I start using it to set the tank up with to do the new aquascape. Sorry. I don't think it would be an issue. I mean, maybe if there were like some polythoas on it or something, you might could have a problem if you like smacked one with a hammer and it sent something into your mouth or your nose or face. But Freeman's Aquatic says Viper Spectra. Nowadays, I can't say I trust this fella's opinions. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for putting your trust in me. Viper Spectra are still bang for the buck. You're not going to get much more power for the dollar than you will out of Viper spectral lights. Yeah. Nano is dope. Thank you very much. Hey, there's an Etsy order. Very cool. Wonder if that was somebody in the live stream. If you're here, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm using the little brand, LIDL. Okay. Brand distilled water, keeping the corals alive. Yeah. I mean, distilled is fine. It just gets expensive. That's the only problem. Oh, Eli's using API. Yeah, well, the problem and the reason that I ask you that is because API will actually give you false positives on ammonia. And that may be what you have going on, because everything that you were telling me earlier about your tank is, I mean, your tank should be cycled at this point. If you still have ammonia in the tank with all those things that you've been doing, something's very, very, very wrong. So I suspect that that API test is giving you a false positive, which they are absolutely famous for doing. In my personal opinion, I don't think that those test kits should even be on the market for saltwater. There's no difference between them and the freshwater kit other than the sticker that they put on the box. They took the freshwater kit, they slapped a saltwater sticker on it. It's a saltwater test kit. That's why they don't work, or that's why the resolution is wrong. Pretty much all test kit reagents are the same thing. There is a reagent A, a reagent B, and a reagent C. They're basically all the same thing, right? The Coral View Hydros is probably using the same reagents that they put in the API test kits. It's just in how much volume are they doing it and what are the concentrations of those reagents. However, I have not studied that in depth. You'd actually be surprised how hard it is to find accurate information on all of that stuff. People are pretty tight-lipped about what they use. But yeah, the reagents are pretty much all the same. But all they did was slap a saltwater sticker on the freshwater kit box. And I think the phosphate test kit card coloration was changed just slightly. But that's why the resolution is off and they don't work well for saltwater. Jay's move, I was about to get a 180 as my first tank. Hey, look, if you, I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't. If you have the space and the budget and the want to go with the tank that big for your first tank, do it. That's what this is. Oh my God. I guess the yawn monster has happened already today. For some reason, my 6-stage RODI is producing 3 to 5 TDS. RO membrane, all filters, plus both DI resin filters are only 3 months old. Well, it could be because they are 3 months old. It could be a number of things, actually. There might be a water channel going down through the DI resin that's allowing the water to pass without actually going through the resin. That's possible. It's possible that your water pressure is not high enough. RODI filters are designed to run at 60 to 80 PSI. So if your house is running at 45, it's not going to work properly. So that's something to check into as well. It could be that depending on your water source, there was some stuff that came through the water, like if you're on city water and they did a big treatment, put a bunch of chlorine in there, and chloramines, that it just cooked the DI resin already and it's allowing some things to pass. So there's a lot of possibilities, really. It's not just based on time. So you have to check into those things maybe and see what you got going on. The Durf guy says, I run a simple 13.5 mixed softies and LPS, weekly 2.5 gallon water changes, swap out the filter floss, cleaning the glass has been my only maintenance. Great. Awesome. A simple reef tank that is nice and pretty to look at. I love it. I love it. What is one trick you'd recommend to take it to the next level as far as reef keeping? Well, here's what I would say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If that little tank is looking good and it's happy and the corals are happy, just maybe add a couple more corals, or maybe find like one specific fish that you want to get in there. Or there's some really cool invertebrates that you could add, like a Pedersen's shrimp, or maybe a bumblebee shrimp, or There's another one that the name is slipping to mind. Anyway, you kind of get where I'm going here. We get into this habit where we want to tinker with the tank. We want to change something. We want to make it better. Don't do that. don't get caught up in that. If you have a reason to make a change or to make something better, like if your pH is swinging around too much and you want to dial that in and make that swing happen, less aggressively, then yeah, add a skimmer, add a CO2 scrubber, something like that. But otherwise, if it's running good, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let it look good. So let's see. Demdala says, so since you said since you said that, the question I have is, a 120-gallon tank too much for Gypsy Creek flooring or concrete? Oh, okay. Was that corrected?
I looked it up. I'm sure that's probably what he's talking about, but I don't know if you know what that is.
So gypsum concrete flooring?
It is, from what I can see, it is a premium self-labeling underlayment used to enhance floor durability, sound insulation, and fire resistance.
Okay.
Overwood. Yeah, I didn't know. So
that's like hardy board. It's like cement board that they put down as an underlayment that goes under the flooring. So I can't comment on to the strength of that, but 120 gallons. I would imagine if you have that type of flooring, that is on top of a raised frame wood structure. 120-gallon tanks can go on top of a raised frame wood structure, depending on where they're located, along with a load-bearing wall and stuff like that. So what I would say is to get a general contractor to come out to your place, take a look at it underneath in the crawl space of the house, find where your load-bearing points are, and find the direction that your floor joists run. Or maybe you can do this yourself. And pick a spot in the house where it's going to be not only close to a load-bearing spot in the foundation, but also one where the tank crosses perpendicular to the floor joist. You don't want the tank running this way along the floor joist. You want it to cross them. And then even after that, if you feel like it's spongy right there or whatever, you can use concrete pads and jacks underneath to add some additional stability if you want to. But I'm not familiar with that flooring. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, yes, a cup of coffee would be amazing. Just do the Keurig. I don't even care what the flavor is, unless it's, kitty cat poopy toe beans. I don't want that. That really is what we call our cat. Mrs. Poopy Toe Beans, because cats, litter box, come on, and she is currently on top of look at this. This is her favorite place in the world.
Man.
And we clean it all the time, yes, with things to keep it clean, because when you have a cat, you're not going to keep them from getting where they want to get. So that cat actually got really, really lucky. It fell out from under a car in front of me. I was riding my motorcycle home from the fire department when I still worked there, and I saw these things like hanging down like this, and I thought it was a glove under the car. And I know we're off topic, but sometimes I just tell stories. This is what you get. You guys get to know me a little bit better in the live streams than you do in my videos and stuff. So saw these things dangling under the car. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then bloop, it fell out from under the car and went sliding down the road in front of me. Tore its leg open. I picked it up, put it in a backpack, and rode about 20 miles to an animal shelter that was not open. So then I'm on the phone with my wife. I'm like, what the heck do I do? Because I'm allergic to cats. We couldn't have cats, So I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, I guess just bring it home and we'll try to find a vet. So I did, and it never left. And now me and the cat, we do that thing that people make fun of all the time, where it's like dad and the cat dad didn't want. That happens all the time. So anyway, let's go back to talking about reef tanks. Neat tank you have back there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It means a lot. I do have a genuine question for you, says Freeman's Aquatics. And it's okay if you don't have any experience with it, but with anemones, letting go and getting drifting in the water column, do the nem guards actually work? Yeah, I mean, they work pretty well. There's still the chance that a tentacle is going to go through one of those holes in a nem guard. What we always used to use back in the day was women's pantyhose. It works pretty well. You know, we would use that, wrap it around the back of the thing, and kind of cut it in the front where the wave maker was still open. That worked. You know, those black sponges that you could get and put around the pumps, those work pretty good. The nem guards do okay. They do okay. If you can get 3D printed ones too from a lot of different people. I don't offer any on my store, but they work pretty well also. And what was I going to say? There's always the chance that you're going to end up, you know, with a tentacle going through there or something like that. But they do work pretty well. Josh says 75 PSI with the booster. Okay, so with your RODI, Josh, if you're doing 75 PSI, then your pressure's good. So it's going to be one of those other things that I was talking about. So check into those things. Sometimes, unfortunately, if you can't physically see into your DI chamber, and sometimes even then, it doesn't matter if you can see into it or not. It'll have that water path, you know, because water takes the path of least resistance. So if the DI wasn't packed tightly enough, it could just wiggle out a path. I am sorry, guys. Golly, man. Like, I hit a wall about 20 minutes ago and cannot stop yawning. No, you know what it is? I'm not breathing right because I'm talking too much. That is true. If you yawning is a sign of oxygen deprivation. We'll learn that in the Fire Academy. So yeah, I'm talking too much and not breathing enough.
Did you turn that camera on?
Yeah, we were all watching you talk to the cat. But anyway, Caesar says, "Oh, you've changed your lights. How do you find them?" I love these lights. The app was a little bit weird to get used to, going from the Pop Bloom to the Delua app. But after you get it figured out, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I really, really like the lights. I wish I could play with the lights while we were on the stream, but the app is on my phone, and if I close YouTube, it closes the live stream. So I'll have to get another one. I'll get another phone. We got several old phones around here that we're not using anymore, and maybe I'll try to get one of those and get it logged into the Delua app so that I can play with the lights while we're on stream, so I can show you the app and things like that. Full disclosure, they sent me these lights. But there's no other part of the sponsorship or anything like that. They just wanted me to experience them, and I was happy to accept because they're really cool lights. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to try them out. So that's what we're doing. But this is it's the Delua X4 SPS Beast Mode Bundle is what they call it. I've got 4 of the X4s and 4 of the Fragger Vitamini strips. A little bit of caramel, and that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I really like the lights. The spectrums are really, really nice, and I can get some super amazing pictures of my corals with them. I'm still trying to dial it in for like where to put the lights with the light filter that I have and everything. But you can see if I hold the filter up, it gives you, well, let me do it this way. The filter gives you a really like full spectrum sort of look, even when they're that blue. So that was all of those spectrum concerns like that were things that they thought about, you know. I'm in the process of cycling my first tank using Microbacter cycling kit Brightwell. That's not who makes Microbacter. Is it? Brightwell Aquatics? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Microbacter cycling kit Friday evening. The ammonia tested 0.7 yesterday and today. Is that normal? HANA tester, and I use RO water. It can be normal. I'm not super familiar with their cycling kit. I'm assuming it comes with ammonia that you dose to the tank to raise the ammonia and kick things off. So if so, where was your ammonia set at to begin with? I'm not sure how to say your name, but it starts with an A, and you're talking about using microbacter to cycle. So let me know where your ammonia was, and I can tell you what things are kind of doing. Freeman says, I'm in MV. Out of all of you that have cement slabs in your actual house, I have a very sad, dry 185 gallon in my garage. It's growing out chickens. Couldn't find a house with, yeah, I got you. What is MV? I don't know what MV is. It's not Vermont. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Josh says, I think aquascaping has been the hardest thing for me. I can't figure out a good way to lay out the rock to get ready for live rock when it arrives. So aquascaping is a bit of an art form, really. It's a thing that you get better at with time. And you wouldn't think that it was. You would think that you just twist and turn and move rocks around until you get them into a situation that you think looks good. But there's honestly something more to it. There's a feel where when you're stacking rocks together, you turn them just slightly, you move them around a little bit, and you can literally feel the rock lock into place. And it just comes with experience. So just keep messing with it, but don't mess with it to the point of exhaustion. Every day, fiddle with it for 15 or 20 minutes. See if you can feel how the rocks want to be, because they want to be in a certain way with each other. And I know it sounds like I'm a lunatic right now, but it's the truth. And anybody who's done it for a while will say the same thing. You can just stack a pile of rocks together and it'd be fine. But you can lock rocks together and make archways and, platforms and plateaus and things like that, using the structure of the rock to lock itself together. And the only way that you're going to get there is just by doing it, so just play with it a bunch. I used to have harlequin shrimps. They are stunning. I have one in my wine glass tank. I don't like keeping them because you have to feed them starfish, and I don't like chopping up starfish to feed the harlequin shrimp, but Oh, my wife wanted to keep it. Yeah, we had two. It's in the wine glass tank. We had two of them. One of them, I think, crawled out of the tank and the cat ate it, I guess. It just disappeared. I don't know where it went. Man, that thing makes hot coffee. But yeah, so we still have the other one. We have the male, the smaller one, and he's kicking. He's doing his thing, but we got him to clear up Astorina, or really they're called Aquila nostra starfish. And they did that. But then, we bought that animal, so we owe it a great life, and that's what we're trying to do. I have some, don't want a sub. I haven't uploaded in 6 years, but look up negative hardscapes. All right, cool. Used to be mainly African cichlid breeder, DIY lava rock. Very neat. Very cool. Go watch BRS's videos about making habitat negative space. Yep, those were good. I watched those. Oh man, it's been a while. If you do the super glue and sand method, come back behind with mortar and then just rub your hands or gloves all over the rest of the scape. It balloons all of it together. Interesting. Blends. Yeah, I have auto correct problems as well. Accelerator, yep, that's good. I've been watching you for a couple of months now. Just started the cycle in my 55-gallon reef tank. Fingers crossed. Great. Although there's no need to cross your fingers, because if you do it correctly, we can almost guarantee what's going to happen. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. Just so everybody in the chat knows right now, recently we opened up one-on-one consultations. Yes, they're paid. I got to make a living, But if you want one-on-one time with me, talking about just your specific tank and making a game plan moving forward to find some more success in reef keeping, you can find information about that on my website. I sponsor all my own videos, so that's my little plug there. Let's see. On a mixed reef, what do you think the best par at the top of the rocks? Mine is 300 at the top, but I noticed that some of my corals are changing their colors. Some of the reds are turning green. So it depends on what corals you have. In my instance, up here at the top, I have several Acropora variety species of corals, and they generally want a higher par level. So with the Deluas that I have behind me, I'm shooting for 400 par at the top of my rocks. I've not tested them yet. I need to do that. But the corals are looking good, so I don't think I'm too far off from where I want to be. But some coral, like Stylopora or Pasillopora, Montipora, if they're stick corals or hard skeleton SPS, small polyp stony, even though they're SPS, they don't like super high par scenarios. So it depends on the coral you have. Generally speaking, if I were to give you a guideline that is all of reef keeping, shoot for about 250 par to 300 par at the top of your rocks and about 75 to 100 at the sand bed. That way you have a gradient of par where you can put different corals in different places. Now, that's not always possible. Depth of the tank matters, and all kinds of other variables. Even down to what kind of lid you might be running on your aquarium. But yeah, generally 250 to 300 is at the top of the rocks is pretty good. Thoughts on carpet anemones? I want a rock flower, but the carpets look amazing and have me interested. Number one, they will eat your fish. Yeah, my wife was over there. She just went, carpet anemones will eat even healthy fish. I had a carpet anemone. On the same day, I bought what did I buy? It was a wrasse.
Was it a wrasse?
Wasn't?
Or was it the chalk bass?
No, it wasn't a chalk bass.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it was. It was a very expensive wrasse.
Yeah.
That Petco just happened to have for like $30. It was I think it was a Labouti's wrasse, or Labout's wrasse, or is this what somebody, anyway, it was a wrasse that's usually about $150. They had him for like 30, and a carpet anemone. And so I bought both of them because they were great deals. I got both of those things for $50. Brought them home, QT'd them, put them in the tank. Well, I didn't QT the anemone. You don't have to. I put them in the tank. Everything was looking good, looking fine. The nymph ate the wrasse, and then the nymph died. So I don't know why the nymph died. Everything else in the tank was absolutely fine. Probably it was already sick from Petco. Maybe I could have done an antibiotic dip or whatever on it, but I didn't do it. But yeah, carpet anemones will eat your fish. Maxi mini carpet anemones generally won't eat your fish, but they don't get very big, about 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6 at the most. But they're super cool to look at. I really like them. I would like to get a couple for my tank, but those are super cool. So having said all that, rock flower nymphs are the way to go. That is a big rock flower anemone right down there. Let me see if I can get my filter and not spill my coffee. That dude is purple and orange and is like 8 or 9 inches across, probably. Rock flower anemones are one of my favorite things. Blue haze just started a 55-gallon. My nitrite shot up like crazy. Is that normal? Yeah, I mean, it can be depending on the, there's actually a lot of factors, blue haze. So yes, it can be normal. When you say they shot up like crazy, how high are they? Like, what's the number? Everything you said about aquascaping, I 100% agree on. I'm not trying to seem big and stand on a pedestal, but I've been aquascaping for a long time now, and I agree. Very cool. I love it when people agree with me. And I don't think it's standing on a pedestal. It's just adding adding another voice of experience to the conversation validates what people say. It's totally cool. No big deal. But yeah, Tina said the consultations are the cliff note. What? The consultations are the cliff notes to your tank's success. Ah, yes. He helps you avoid problems before they happen. Very cool. Thank you very much, Tina. Tina has done a couple of consultations because Tina jumped into the reef keeping hobby with both feet and no boots. So she went crazy and just set up basically a fish store in her extra building on her property. I mean, not really. I don't think you're selling stuff, are you, Tina? But yeah, she's got a couple of low boys in there. She just moved in a display tank, and there's like a big sump and like one of those big Rubbermaid sumps that are on the floor, and she's got like plumbing on the walls and like all kind of stuff. Tina went crazy in the best way possible. It was awesome. The Microbacter starter kit came with ammonia. I did not test for ammonia before adding the bacteria and ammonia, and you pronounce my name Avi. Very cool. Well, thank you for telling me how to say your name. I appreciate that. So basically what happens is when we do a fishless cycle like that is we try to set the ammonia somewhere between 1.5 and 2 ppm. Stand by. Ah, that feels so good on my throat. So anyway, we set the ammonia between 1.5 and 2 ppm. That's going to give us enough to allow things to happen. So with yours being at 0.7, you're totally fine. Just let it keep processing and everything should be good. Now, I will answer 2 questions at the same time, because Blue Haze was talking about nitrites being around 2 to 5 ppm. So if you set your ammonia too high in the beginning, y'all might hear some noise here. We got to bang around with some ice for a minute. It'll be okay. It's fine, Susie. It's not a big deal. Live streams, you hear our life here at the house. Yeah, it's no big deal. So anyway, nitrite. Sorry. Nitrites. Let me get back on track. Over 5 ppm, nitrite can begin to stall the nitrogen cycle. So too much ammonia in the beginning can lead to too much nitrite over time, because there's roughly a 1 to 3 conversion from ammonia to nitrite, right? So if you start at, let's say 3 ppm ammonia, you end up with about 9 ppm of nitrite, right? Which is too much. That's going to probably stall the cycle. So that's why we start at like 1.5 to 2. So yeah, being at 0.7, you're good. Now, Blue Haze, the person who has 2 to 5 nitrite, that's okay. It's not so much that it's probably going to stall the cycle. The product that I would recommend that you get to use is Microbe Lift Night Out 2. I find it to be a superior product when dealing with a high nitrite scenario over Microbacter 7. Now, Microbacter 7 is very good. People have been using it for 20 years, but I find the Microbe Lift one even better. Yeah. All right. So Gavin says, thanks for the carpet anemone tips. The rock flower is gorgeous as well. Thank you very much. One last question. Is there or will there be a video about tips and tricks on upgrading and downgrading tank sizes? Ooh. I'd have to roll that around in my head. I don't really know how I could make a video on that wouldn't just be the same video that I already made on like how to move a reef tank. So if you didn't know, I made a video sort of recently about how to move a reef tank or like replace it with a different one. Just tips and tricks for how to do that. if you find that on the channel, okay, we're going to put a link to that video in the comments. That probably has most of the tips that you might would need. There it is in the comments for how to do that. I don't really know what other tips and tricks I could, like upgrading equipment, maybe. I don't know. I'll give it a roll around in the head and see if we can come up with anything. And just make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and everyone else here too. If you're not subscribed but you're enjoying the live scream, subscribe to the channel. Jeez, can't get words out of my face. It's okay. I'm ready to go fishing. Tina says, no selling, just growing out for the dream tank. All right. Very cool. Blue Haze says, thank you a ton. No problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah. Blue Haze, if your nitrite goes over 5 ppm, just do a 50% water change. It'll drop it back down and things will just keep right on trucking. But no, you're good. Gavin says, I wasn't aware of the moving video, so I'll check it out. Always appreciate your help and advice. Have a great day. You have a great day too. I now have coffee, and it's helping tremendously.
45 minutes.
45 minutes? Oh, we only got 45 minutes left on the live stream. Very cool. Says we got about 66 people in here. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream with us. We really appreciate it. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Logan. I run Reef Rookies. We teach people how to do saltwater stuff. So that's what we're doing. Very cool. My throat always hurts. That's the thing that always happens. So what else is somebody's jamming?
Neighbors there.
Our neighbors. We got
new neighbors.
Yeah, we got new neighbors about, I don't know, 6-8 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they're always out there jamming. A bunch of young people. A couple of them have the squatted trucks, which I don't care for, but I guess I'm getting old, so. Yeah, get off my lawn, you crazy kid. But anyway, what else is in the plans? So we talked about Delua stuff. That's all cool and fine and good. Really just growing the tank out. Getting the corals to a point where I can start fragging them a little bit and sending some to some people here and there, Tina says, explain why you say don't test too much. For example, when your nutrients are going down or low, why shouldn't we test every day to avoid zero? So if you're nearing zero, then it is a good idea to test a little bit more often. But when I say that, what I mean is that don't get obsessive with testing your tank every day or twice a day or anything like that, because the test kits just have a variance. So, I mean, you could test right now and get 10 ppm nitrate, wait 30 minutes, test again and get 6, just because of the test kit variance. So weekly is a very good sweet spot. If you want to do more frequently than that, you can do twice a week, do like Wednesday and Sunday. But weekly is a really good sweet spot because you get this sort of ebb and flow pattern of the tank where your nitrates are averaging around 8 or so. And you establish a trend over a month or 2 months if the nitrate are going up or if they're coming down or if they're stable. And this applies to all the parameters. I'm just saying nitrate as an example. But what happens if you test every single day is you start obsessing about it. It's just human nature. It's just a thing that we do. Today it was 8, tomorrow it's 6, the next day it's 9, the next day it's 5, the next day it's 4, and then it's 10, and then it's 6, and then it's 7, then it's 10. And you're like, oh my God, my tank is swinging around. Things are going all over the place. When in actuality, it is how soon after feeding are you testing? That's a variable. How soon after the lights have come on are you testing? Another variable. Did the fish take a big dump in the tank 20 minutes before you tested the tank? Another variable. You see where I'm going? So you end up picking up these daily sort of shifts that look like instability, but that really aren't. So that's why I say that like weekly is a really good sort of way to test. I test my tank every Wednesday. That's what I do. And that allowed me to see 2 weeks before Reef-A-Palooza, things were lower than they had been for the previous like 8 weeks. Actually, for the previous like 8 months, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. And then the week before Reef-A-Palooza, they were even lower. So there was a trend and it fell off. And it was real easy for me to see that. And so that's why I think we should do that and not do it way too often. Okay, so there was a few more questions that came through after Tina asked me that one, which was an excellent question. So we're going to get to these other ones. James is asking about Moorish idols and tips on getting them to stay alive. They don't have a long life cycle. That's actually incorrect. They have just as much of a lifespan as other fish do, but they are very dependent on fibrous foods. So you're going to want to have more than one macroalgae growing in a sump to help supplement feed that fish. Also, more than one source of different types of dried seaweed, nori, green, and red. And one thing that is actually seems to be helping quite a bit is mastic fish food. So MASTICK. Easy Reefs has a version of mastic fish food, and you stick it on the glass or you can stick it on a rock and sink it or whatever. The main thing that we have started figuring out about Moorish idols is they need a fiber-heavy, varied diet of a lot of different plants or macroalgae. So it would be a super good idea if you were going to be keeping that fish. Before you ever get that fish, you make sure that you can grow codium and halomedia and caulerpa in your sump. And I'm not talking about just a little bit. Like, you're going to want to be able to break this stuff off and feed this fish every day. So start planning for that. Try to get that going now, even if you have to dose nutrients to keep those things going. That will prepare you for that Moorish idol. It is definitely a fish that I would recommend only for experts. And in addition to that, people who are pretty much home every day. You know, if you go off to work for 14 days at a time, I would not recommend getting a Moorish idol. You know, if you're home every day at 3 or 4 o'clock and you've got a few hours in the evening every day to really pay attention to the fish and make sure that it's getting what it needs, then yeah. In addition to being a fish keeping, very experienced fish keeper. So it's a difficult fish, make no mistake. There are other fish that look kind of similar, that it'll give you the same look in the tank. Hinochius, I think is how you say it, butterfly fish, I think is the one, or banner fish they call them. But yeah, Moorish are difficult. I would consider myself a very experienced fish keeper at this point, and I have no desire to have a Moorish idol in my tank just because of the feeding requirements that it takes to keep them things alive. I just don't want to deal with it. It's a part-time job. Been out of reef keeping for over a decade and recently got back in a few months ago. Welcome back to the hobby. I love to see that when people can circle back around and get back in. After the fishless nitrogen cycle with bacteria additives using dry rock, what is the optimal way to introduce and grow coralline? There are a product on the market that you can get now called Purple Helix and Pink Helix. You can get them on Amazon. I need to put those on the gadgets and gizmos, and no, I need to put those on the additives.
What is it? I wasn't listening.
Pink and Purple Helix,
Okay.
coralline algae in a bottle.
Okay.
You can get those, but they're not going to do anything for you very fast. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for those to really grab hold and start doing what they're going to do. And the tank has to be stable for coralline algae to grow very well. So your alkalinity has to be good. Your nutrients have to be good. All that has to be really nice and stable. Coralline algae really doesn't like a new tank. We used to think that coralline algae would help a tank mature, but it's actually the other way around. A mature tank allows coralline algae to grow better. So it's putting the cart before the horse. That said, you could absolutely add it to the tank. The best way to get it is to get something that has coralline algae on it, like rock rubble or hermit crabs or whatever. Get that in the tank without letting it be exposed to air ever. Keep it underwater the whole time from where you see it to when you get it there. Get it in the tank and then scrape it with like a butter knife or something like that. Scrape it off in the tank and seed the tank that way. That's one of the best ways that you can do that. But given the fact that you are using a fishless cycle and dry rock, your tank probably isn't going to be happy and ready for coralline algae for probably 6 to 8 months. One thing you can do to speed that up is add live sand from the ocean. You can get some from Tampa Bay Saltwater Rocks. I believe Marco Rocks sells live sand. If not, I know they sell live rock rubble. And FloridaPets.com. They keep the sand and the rocks down in the Florida Keys. You can order it, get it to your house. You get that ocean bacterial diversity into the tank, and it speeds things up in a big way. Blue says, what fish would you recommend for a first fish in my reef tank? And what plants or anemones? Just curious on your thoughts. There's another question. You said, and should I start with a fish or the other way around? So you should also consider getting some of that live sand, live rock rubble stuff I was just talking about. Get that into the tank. As for first fish, it's a tough call. Most people go with clownfish first. I don't always think that clownfish are the best addition first, because depending on the species, some of them can be pretty freaking mean, you know. Clownfish are also a damsel, which is the same as chromies, and they can carry Uranema and Brooklinella and bring that into the tank. It's pretty common for those fish to do that. So first fish that I like to recommend are firefish, bang eye, or pajama cardinal fish are great as a first fish. Let me look at my tank. A chalk bass, that would be an awesome first fish. They're not territorial, but they're super inquisitive and they eat great and they're really colorful. Chalk basslet. Stay away from all of the damsels, and clownfish are damsels. Don't get like a 4-stripe or a 3-stripe or an azure damsel. Super pretty little fish, blue with a yellow slash tail, you know, gorgeous little fish, mean little assholes. So yeah, stay away from those. I mean, those are some good options. There's probably some other good ones too, but I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment on beginner fish. Don't get anything that needs to clean the sand right now. So don't get any Lake Diamond gobies or Watchman gobies. Definitely do not add a sand sifting starfish. Stay away from all starfish for the first year of your tank's life. It's easier for me to tell you what not to get. Don't get any kind of dragonettes right now. So mandarin dragonettes, scooter blennies, nothing like that. Don't get any wrasses yet. They're pretty sensitive. No anthias, nothing like that. Stick to those other ones. Cardinal fish, we'll go ahead and put clownfish in there because they are pretty hardy and okay. Firefish, maybe some gobies. You know, a yellow Watchman goby would be all right because they don't really sift the sand like diamond gobies do. The yellow Watchman would be okay. Yasha goby and a pistol shrimp would be all right. That'd be good to get in there early on. Yeah. Let's see. So Lyle is, you're talking to the guy about the Morris idols. Very cool. Been looking at, so cool to see you live. Very cool. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. I was running off at the mouth just now about beginner fish, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. Been looking at the Fluval 13.5. Is that big enough for a paired clownfish mini reef? Oh, wait. Blue was asking about anemones too. I would not recommend putting a NEM in your tank until the tank is 6 to 8 months old. I mean, some people can do it. I believe that I could do it and keep it happy, but it's really difficult for beginning reef keepers to keep an anemone happy in a new tank. So I would recommend that you hold off on that for 6 to 8 months. Even if you have clownfish, they don't have to have an anemone. I actually don't put NIMS in my display tanks anymore because they go freaking on walkabout. And then they park themselves inside your $300 Bill Murray Acropora and kill it. So I don't keep NIMS in my display tank except for the rock flower NIMS. I promise I haven't been drinking. It's just the coffee. I hate to say this. I even bought a couple Hannah checkers. I've never used them. I just stay on a religious routine and keep an eye on things. I mean, that works for some people. It really depends on your coral selection. There's no way that I could do that with my tank. I have to know what my parameters are with the corals that I have in my tank. But that definitely works for some people. Somebody asked me a question and I think I skipped it. Oh, JC asked, is the 13.5 big enough for paired clownfish mini reef? Yes, but be specific about which clownfish you pick. Ocellaris or Percula, it's going to be okay. Maroon clowns, it's probably not going to be okay. They get too big. Alardi clownfish, probably too big. Clarkey clownfish might be okay. There are some really little bitty tiny clownfish that we can get now. They're calling them nano clownfish. And just like the fancy ones, they have been bred to stay really stupidly, ridiculously small. They only get like 1.25 inches big. That's it. So you might even look at them, you know. But yeah, it's big enough. Just be careful about which species you pick. Primal says, I want a matted filefish because they look cool, but heard they destroy reefs. What's your opinion on them? It's a 50-50 shot. You were playing the lottery with that fish because you might get one that has never eaten coral before. And all it takes is for that dude to nip a coral one time and go, hey, that was pretty good. And you wake up the next morning with a problem. They are a very cool looking fish. I really like them, and they do eat aptasias too. But it's like Russian roulette with that fish in a reef tank. Did you get the rock flowers from Terra Reef? No, I did not. I got the rock flower NIMS that I have in this tank from 2 separate trips, I believe, at one of our local coral shows that's kind of similar to Reef-A-Palooza, but much smaller. It's called Aquafest. And for some reason, they're not doing it this year or maybe ever again. I don't know why. But yeah, it came from they came from coral shows. And one of the reasons I like rock flowers so much is because they're such a pretty thing, but they're usually only like $40. Like I honestly... No, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say because I would jinx it and then they would all go up in price. So I'm not even going to say that. But you can usually get rock NIMS, like really gorgeous ones, for like at Reef-A-Palooza, there were some of the nicest ones I've ever seen. And I can't believe I didn't bring one home, but I didn't. I got Acropora instead of rock flowers. But they were $20 to $50 for all of the RFAs at Reef-A-Palooza. And there were some beautiful ones, like neon blue fringes with yellow centers and green mouths and things like that. You know, they were just gorgeous. But it's one of the coolest things that you can put in your tank that brings the most color to the tank for the least amount of money. I really like them. Lyle says, my pH graph looks like a slow sine wave, dropping to 7.8 and coming back to 8.1 almost at the same time daily. There is no one in my home and the window is open. I'm building a DIY CO2 scrubber. Think it will smooth things out. Yes, I do believe that it will smooth things out. That sine wave sort of look to your pH is actually very natural. It's not hurting a thing. It's honestly expected, and the amount yours is moving is not a problem. Having said all that, a CO2 scrubber will not only raise your pH a bit, probably up to about 8.3, it'll smooth that line out a little bit more, which is good, but it's also borderline chasing perfection, which Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm doing it. I run a CO2 scrubber on my system for exactly the same reason. But yes, the things that you were asking about are totally normal for anybody else who's watching. If you test your pH in your tank, you should test the pH at the same time every day. And don't test the pH right before the lights come on, because that's the lowest part of the day. Wait till the lights have been on at least a few hours, if not test it at the end of the day, right before the lights go off. So you get the highest pH, it's the peak of the pH for the day, and always test it at that same time. If you test your pH right before the lights go off today, it might be 8.4. But in the morning, right before the lights come on, it might be 7.9. And you're like, oh man, my pH is doing all this crazy stuff. But it's not. It does that. It goes up and down every 24 hours. pH is affected very heavily by CO2. So when the lights come on, photosynthetic organisms begin to use up CO2 and produce oxygen, which drives the pH up. CO2 down, pH goes up, and vice versa. So at night when the lights are off, those photosynthetic organisms stop doing photosynthesis, the CO2 goes up, the pH goes down. This is why a lot of us with refugiums run our refugiums on an opposite light cycle to the main display tank, so that it helps stabilize our pH. Now that's a thing that you all know. Okie dokie, let's see what we got going on here. Thanks for the information in your vids. Trying to get back into it. Still getting equipment. Got all the tech now and prices north of the border. Yeah, I hear you. It can be a lot. Just remember, keeping it simple can be a very rewarding experience in saltwater. You don't have to have all the super crazy, ridiculous stuff, you know? Freeman says, stay religious on water changes. If you can't water change, I say it's a sign to stay away. I disagree absolutely 100% with that statement. I haven't done a water change on this tank in over a year. I just haven't. I don't think that someone not having the ability to do routine water changes should keep them out of the hobby. That being said, water changes are a very effective way to keep a reef tank. You can keep one just by doing water changes with no other filtration equipment on the tank at all. But there are ways to keep a reef these days where water changes are basically obsolete at this point. I'm using the Triton Master Your Trace Element Dosing Program. So fluoride, iodine, bromine, cobalt, chromium, iron, lithium, a couple of other elements, trace elements. They're being dosed to my tank every single day, twice a day. Also, I have a big refugium with a lot of macroalgae in it, and even some corals and invertebrates and fish. And I have a skimmer that works very well. And I use filter floss in 2 big filter floss baskets that gets changed weekly. I'm actually having nutrient issues in my tank because I don't have enough fish. It's not a bad problem to have. Could add some fish. But
why are you looking at me?
Oh, I was looking at you for approval. But no, we're quickly approaching the era of reef keeping where water changes are obsolete. We just don't need to do them anymore. Our filtration plus methods that we have now to remove dissolved organic compounds, DOCs, plus the ability to dose the trace elements back is making the water changes not even worth it anymore. That being said, it's still in. Yeah, if it works for you, don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing you in any way, man. I'm just having a conversation with you. And I happen to disagree with your point, which is cool. We can do that respectfully. It's no big deal, you know. But I do disagree with you that sort of, it feels a little bit gatekeepy to say that if you can't do water changes, this isn't the hobby for you. And I get where you're coming from. You know, that consistency of maintenance and things like that is very important. But, you know, and if that works for you, that's freaking wonderful. Great. you found a way that you can keep a reef tank and it works with you and for you, and that's awesome. And that's what we all have to get to ultimately. Do you know anyone who has kept a Moorish idol long term? I don't. That's why I ask. I don't think that fish belongs in the hobby. I don't know anybody personally who's had one for more than 2 years. I am on the fence with, is it a fish we should keep in the hobby or not? I could fall either way at the moment. But the thing that's getting us there are the people who are trying to keep them and finding more and more and more and more success. 5 years ago, I'd have said absolutely not. Now, maybe. 5 years from now, maybe we have figured out the secret to long-term health for Moorish idols in the tank. And it's like anything else, you know? What was the thing that we couldn't keep? 20 years ago, nobody could keep Gonorrhea alive. Couldn't figure out why. Nobody could keep it alive. People with what we would otherwise consider to be perfect reef tanks would not keep Gonorrhea alive. It wouldn't. And now we're seeing people who are just getting into the hobby having success with that coral because we have better lighting, we have better filtration, and we have better understanding of the needs of the feeding of that coral and the trace elements that they require. So yeah, 20 years ago, I would have never bought a Gonorrhea. We used to call them flower pot corals back in the day, which technically I think a flower pot and a goni are two different things. Maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But we couldn't keep them alive, and now we can. So things definitely progress, and the way that we got there with the Gonorrhea was people figured it out. So hopefully we'll get there with the Moorish idols one day. I have a 29-gallon reef tank, only 3 fish. I feed a quarter cube frozen once a day, nitrate 16, phosphate about 0.1. Can't seem to get them to go down. Any suggestions? Yes, rinse your frozen food. And if you don't have one, get a skimmer. That being said, those numbers are not too bad. Nitrate at 16 and phosphate at 0.1. That's pretty good. Honestly, I kind of wish my tank was at those numbers right now. It's not. It's much lower than that. My nitrate are 2 and my phosphate are 0.04 at the moment. So not only are they a little bit out of balance for my liking, they're also quite a bit lower than my liking. I like my nitrates like solid 5, but not more than 10. And my phosphate about 0.08. So I need to bring both of them up just a little bit. So I've been feeding heavy. Hopefully that helps. I'm about to start dosing nitrate. So I wouldn't worry too much about those numbers. If your tank looks good, those are okay numbers. If you're having algae problems, then maybe you want to bring them down a little bit. But don't get too caught up in those numbers, okay? Tank is 6 months old, hang on the back filter, and a skimmer. Oh, I guess I could have kept reading. You could skim a little bit wet as well. Just keep an eye on your salinity that it doesn't drop too far. I just started a cycle on my first reef tank. Ammonia 2 ppm at the start. Day 2, ammonia is coming down. Nitrates are high. Okay, Turbo 900, fishless ammonia, Carib Sea sand, cycled live rock. Sounds good. Sounds like you're right on track. I don't see that you said anything else. So, yeah, sounds good. There was something that don't worry about the nitrate right now, okay? Because the presence of nitrite will falsely elevate a nitrate test, and vice versa. Not so much the other way, but it will bring it up a little bit. So for now, don't worry about high nitrate. Don't get caught up in that and think you need to do a water change because it's telling you that your nitrate are at 60. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. As the nitrite becomes completely processed and gone so that the test kit can't pick it up anymore, probably what you're going to see is that nitrate drops quite significantly. In fact, you may see it drop from 60 down to 10 or 15. I thought I was thinking there was something else I was going to tell you about that situation, but I think that was everything. So yeah, don't worry too much about the nitrates. It's going to be good. Now, if your nitrite goes over 5 ppm, then you might have to do a little water change to bring that down back below 5 to keep things moving along. It might stall the cycle a little bit. So just keep an eye on it. Let's see. Alex says, your nitrate and phosphate aren't that bad. I wouldn't go above 0.1 on the phosphates. I agree. How often are you doing water changes? All right, let me get caught up, guys. I'm going to skip over a few little things just so I can answer the big questions because we're getting close to the end here. Big question. Can you use a canister for a salt tank? 100%. Absolutely. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. The main thing is you have to keep it clean. So the difference in canisters with fresh water is we can usually just let them run. Eventually they become a biological filter and they help control the tank and they convert the nitrates into nitrogen gas in fresh water and they actually help control the nitrate. In salt water, they end up becoming a nitrate factory. The wrong kind of bacteria grows in there. It just keeps producing nitrate without that anaerobic zone. Because, or rather, I should say, without the anoxic zone, allowing the nitrate to get converted into nitrogen gas. That doesn't seem to happen inside canisters for salt water. So we end up, if they don't get cleaned regularly, like weekly, they end up producing nitrate way too much because crap gets caught in there. It begins to break down, and nitrate are a result. So yes, you can have a saltwater tank with a canister filter. Just keep it clean. Perthshire, a bird just ran into the window and I mean, it flew off. I don't think it like knocked itself out. It hit the one to the right-hand side of the fireplace. I watched it do it. Dumb bird. Perthshire Marine Aquarium says, we have started taking native seaweed from Scotland and trying in our marine tank, seeing what may survive and also what possible our tank and cool. I've done that, but not with native stuff. No, not with native stuff at all. Pretty interesting thing though. If you end up finding some like really good stuff, then you should write up an article or something. Try to publish some things about it if you find some really interesting stuff. Rock flower gardens are awesome, but yours would be field size. Yeah, Freeman, that's I agree. The Berlin method is a really good way to keep a tank very simply.
Is ick or velvet more common?
Yeah, that's what I was reading. I was trying to figure out their name. Arvid, I believe, is how you say your name. Is ick or velvet more common? Honestly, I don't know. I'd probably say ick is a little more common than velvet, but really both are kind of pretty close to the same, if I'm being honest. All right, let's see. Here we go. I'm starting to work. Wait a minute. I'm starting work 4:48 tomorrow. Oh, I get you. Well, thanks for joining from Sweden. And the very next person was saying hi all the way from the UK. Very cool. Awesome. Let's see. 61 corals. 61 corals inside a 20-gallon? I mean, yeah, that could be considered packed. It depends on how big the corals are. If they're little tiny thumbnail frags, then maybe not. But yeah, you can't stop. No, it sounds like you need it's time for a tank upgrade. To me, do the Triton bottle holders come with the cap, with the bulkhead and tube? I don't have a clue how to do plumbing, drilling, and tube size and all that. I dose ESV, but I can't find a cap with a bulkhead. Okay. Yes. Can you go quickly and look? There's a little baggie with those white bulkheads for the Triton things.
Okay.
It is below the printer.
Okay.
To the left. Yes, Russ P2. Russ 2. Yeah, we'll talk about it. She's going to go get those things and bring them back, and then we'll talk about that. But yes, it comes with the bulkhead and the tubing. Freeman got a 185 off of Craigslist for $200. That's awesome. Yeah. So these little things, thank you, come with the Triton doser bottle mounts. And you want to make sure that I try to tighten them up as best I can. So it's got these little blue things, these little horseshoes that come along with it that'll be clipped just like that around there. Don't try to shove the tube in there with the little blue clip on. Pop the little blue clip off and then shove the tube in there, and you got to push it pretty hard. I don't know if you can see down in there. Yeah, that black piece is like an O-ring. So you have to shove the tube past that O-ring. You'll feel it. It'll get hard, but it'll feel like it wants to go, and then it'll go a little bit more. Okay? Once that's done, take the little blue clip, put the little blue clip back on just like that, and your tube is in place. Now, you're still going to have to hook your doser tube to the rigid tube that comes in my kit. And the best way that I have found to do that is with a little bit of heat, and take a pair of needle nose pliers, stick them, this is going to look terrible on camera. I'm not going to do that. Stick the pliers into the tube, and you can spread the pliers open to make the tube open up, and use a little bit of heat, like a little torch or something like that around that tube, and it'll help open them up so that you can stretch them around that rigid tubing. Yeah. Retep says, do you recommend the Hanna Master Marine kit? I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's the right answer for most people. It's pretty expensive, but it does work very well. But some of the Hanna, some of the Hanna kits can be a little finicky. So I would get Hanna for phosphate, ultra low range, alkalinity, and magnesium. And I would run Salifert for everything else. That's what I would do. But yeah. Marine Aquarist says, Logan, do Allards or Alardi and Clarky. Okay. All those clownfish with different names but similar appearance, can they be paired up even if it's a different name but look pretty much the same? Generally, no. Usually they won't pair up. They sometimes can oh, my phone's about to die. Hang on.
Yeah, we need to go ahead.
We need to go ahead and end it. I'm gonna unplug my light. I've got my phone charger. We're gonna plug it in real quick and try to answer these last few questions. Hopefully I can catch it before the phone dies. If not, thanks everybody so much. I really appreciate it. I love you. Mua. Oh, let me try to get it plugged in real quick. Looks like we're still going, so it should feed power through this little doohickey. Go. Okay, we're back. And as it drops to 4%. So let me answer these last couple questions, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But no, generally speaking, they cannot be mixed. Lord Beep says, "You're the man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Not having an upgrade will enjoy the warfare when it kicks off." Just Stutter says, "What's the Berlin method?" Hey go. It is a style of reef keeping. I don't remember all the details at the moment, but if you Google the Berlin method of reef keeping, you'll find tons of information. I don't have time to go into it right now either, but otherwise that I would. Maybe I'll make a video on that because there's a couple of different ones. That would be a good one. Yeah, the Berlin method, the Triton method, which is a version of that, and some other things. Lord says, "I have a blue hippo tang in an established tank. Would it be safe to consider another tang or stay away?" Depends on the size of the tank. If you have a blue hippo and the tank is a 200 gallon, then you have room for more tanks. Just add them in an acclimation box for 2 weeks so that they can get comfortable with each other before you put it in with the hippo, or there might be some aggression. All right, let's see. My end theory is we can't totally replicate nature and the balance of it due to the scale. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. We're pretty much there. Let's see. I'm getting 500-gallon tank, thinking of using Apex. What do you think about Trident and Trident AP? They're pretty good. If I was doing a 500-gallon tank and I wanted parameter monitoring, I would use Apex. If I just wanted control of the gadgets and gizmos in the tank, then I prefer Hydros. Both work very well. Both do a great job. So, yeah. JC says, do you recommend pre-made marine water? No, I do not. Because you don't know the quality of the water that they're putting in there. You don't know if their thing was clean or not. I don't trust anyone to make my water for me. I mean, if they do it wrong, it could kill your tank. I've seen it happen. I've seen fish stores do that. They mix water for people. The people take that water home, crashes their tank because it was mixed wrong and they didn't check. Is it the reef keeper's fault for not checking? Yes. Is it the fish store's fault for doing it wrong? Yes, because people trust their fish stores to do it correctly. So everybody has a percentage of at fault in that situation. But no, I do not trust anybody to make my water other than me. Just me. I don't even, there are people who I know in the hobby who I would not even let me, like friends, I would not trust to mix my water because I got a problem trusting people. I guess. I don't know. But no, I don't like pre-made marine water. Now, ocean water is a bit of a different story. If they get it from the ocean and they package it and bring it home, whatever, that's a little different. But for other people to like mix my salt water for me, I don't like it. You don't know what salt they're using. They could be using low-end, cheap stuff. I've seen that happen before. So it really just depends. But anyway, everybody, we have had a really nice 3-hour live stream. We've had a lot of awesome conversation and questions and hopefully stuff that I can turn into shorts if I ever get to go back through my live stream and make them shorts. And yes, I know there are AI tools that can do that for you. I'm not paying for those. So anyway, my throat is done. My coffee is cold. My cough drop's gone and the cat's screaming. So we're going to go ahead and end this thing and get out of here. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I'm going to get ready to go fishing in the morning. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. You all have an awesome rest of your day. And we'll catch you in the next one. Woohoo! Boop.